hands on deck. It's your captain, kaelanDori.
Welcome aboard, everybody. It's Sunday night, and you are back here on the kaelanDori cruise ship here with the Discord Boys podcast. We are having a fantastic weekend, and I hope you are too. We've got some fantastic guests. Well, they're lined up along with the usual hosts for the show tonight. I think you guys are going to love it. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have a good time. You can have a good time. I'm going to sip on my drink because that's what it's all about. All right, I'm ready to go now. A little more tequila in the system. Let's get ready to introduce the man with a plan. You guys have seen him storming through the Twitch Things channels. He's the #1 Discord boy that is out there, and his album is going to go into #1, I'm pretty sure, as soon as he gets it off the ground. It is the one and only, the man with the plan, the mustache master blaster himself, the Jimbojp. Welcome aboard, sir. Good to have you with us.
What's up, Dory? What's up?
Please give him a moment to comb his mustache, everybody. That is an integral part of the Jimbojp experience.
Yeah, I've been doing it so much now, so it's become a habit. Even when I'm not in Twitch Thing character.
There it is. He's become one with the comb, one with the mustache. That's what it's all about. Fantastic, bro. Fantastic. Excellent. Alrighty, now let's just check that he is awake. Yes, he is. He's not asleep for a change. It is early in the morning, but he's been sipping on some hardcore coffee out of a fantastic mug that I've seen him drinking on all morning. Let us get him out here. It's everybody's guy that they love to see swinging that band hammer around in the channels. It's the Australian master of destruction. It's Mr. PottsieTV. Welcome aboard, sir.
Morning, Capper. How are we?
Wow, I was totally expecting a swear word in the first three things. I lost the bet this time.
Fuck off. What is it?
Ah, yes! Debated! Yes, welcome aboard, Potts. Good to have you with us. How's Australia this morning? How's everything going on a Monday morning?
Oh, good, man. It is getting real fucking cold here in Australia, though. Like, I mentioned it the other day, but I'll just say it on the podcast. Our long-range forecaster for climatologist, buddy, what's his face? He's been good for about the last 2 decades, like predicting what's going to happen, and people have started like taking notice of him in the last few years. He's now come out with a prediction that Australia is going to experience a small to mini like ice age event happening in Australia, to the point where we're going to have snow down to sea level.
Good
That's
Lord,
unheard
so
of in
Australia finally gets cool. Holy hell.
Well, yeah.
All right, we'll check back in with the weather check on the PottsieTV and on the rest of Australia going into the ice age in one moment. I just want to get the voice of the Discord boys, the man who does the voiceovers. You guys have heard him around. You've seen him playing those first-person games, those single-player good times. He is the ultimate throat master, the man with the powerful voice. Okay, that sounded dodgy. Let's recap that. He is the ultimate voice box of the Discord boys. He has the best, the best sounding voice out of us all. It's Mr. MegaGremlin. Welcome aboard, sir. Fuck, I can't do anything than that.
Well, you do have to.
I think I broke Potsy
somehow, right?
I think I broke Potsy there a little bit. It is what it is.
Wow. Thanks, Captain.
There you go. Hey, everyone's gonna.
So I was gonna tell a nice, sweet story about how I went to lunch with my mom today for Mother's Day, but let's talk about my throat.
Let's not and say we did.
Oh, there we go. You can tell your sweet mom story. I got no problem with that.
Oh no, believe me, I'm not associating my mother with anything that comes out of your mouth.
Okay, no problem. Wouldn't be the first person to say that. It is one of those things. Alrighty, now that we've got the usual regular motley crew here on the Discord Boys podcast, I know we are missing our Canadian Maple Master. He is out and about doing Mother's Day things, so he won't unfortunately be able to join us. But we found a much better replacement. He is originally from Canada and has now moved away from there over to possibly quite close to the Isle of Man. Actually, it's just a little bit north of me. That's not starboard. You know what I mean? It's further up, but we can see it from a clear day. If you guys haven't seen around the Twitch halls, you guys are missing out. I was watching a stream today. It was pretty cool. There were some interesting stories being told, and MySpace page was made. Everybody, welcome aboard. Flirtini, welcome aboard. How are you? Good to have you with us.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for having me. Hello,
Always a pleasure.
friends.
What's up?
Pleasure.
Hi.
Alrighty, whew, that part is done. I can sit back and relax and have another sip of this. I hate that freaking. It drives me mad.
Your tequila in the mug.
That's how you do it. Tequila in the mug is the only way to do it.
Proper glassware is important. Yeah.
Correct. So, everyone's week been sounding good, except for Potsy's going into an ice age. Apparently, what's going on, dude?
Yeah. Well, the bloke reckons that in the next couple of years, or maybe anywhere from 3 to 5, we're gonna have this mini ice age event, and it's like that's a little frightening because not only is our livestock, because in the part of Victoria that I'm in, or part of Australia, um, it's very green here, so we have a lot of cattle, we have a lot of grazing, with sheep, dairy production, and so on and so forth. So when that comes, not only the livestock can be affected, but also our fruit and veg side of things. So like it could seriously damage not just our local economy, because we do a lot of exports here as well. So it's shit. See what happens.
Sounds
A little
hectic, man.
monkas.
Yeah, sounds hectic.
Yeah, totally. But we sort of had a taste of it. Not yesterday, Saturday, because we had this huge Arctic front come up, and like it was just in about 2.5 hours west of me. They had sort of like this much hail just built up in the streets. They had to actually go out and get the graders, like the road graders, to clear the bloody streets and the highway and everything. It's like that's a little scary because that's pretty fucking cold to dump that much hail in a very short amount of time. So,
Climate change, mate.
Right.
Climate change is coming along. Just let me know in the chat, by the way, if you think someone's volume is too low or if I'm too high or anything like. Just let me know, so that we can adjust that for you guys. Let's see who has joined us here in the chat nice and early. We see Phoenix. Welcome in, buddy. Good to have you with us here nice and early. 420. Welcome in, bud. Good to have you with us. Dan Hollick. Hey, Dan Hollick. He's making an appearance. Good to see you, Dano. Dragonfly. DFG. How are you, DFG? Good to see you. Drea. Hey, welcome aboard. Good to have you with us, Drea. Nice to see you.
What's
Nice
up,
to see
Drea?
you. Alrighty, that's all the early birds that are in and ready. Everyone else is lurking away, so we'll wait till them to say something before they can have their name shouted out. Nice. All right, so let's learn a little about who we've got with us tonight. Flirtini, let us know a little bit more about yourself, where we can find you, what you've been doing on Twitch, and what your channel's all about.
Okay, hi. I'm Flirtini on Twitch. My name is Dana. I'm in the UK doing my master's in construction project management and engineering. So when I'm not working and when I'm not studying, I like to stream on Twitch. Yeah, I mainly do just chatting for now. I'm trying to start streaming games, but I do have to get a better PC to be able to do that because it does lag a bit.
Tell me about it.
But-
I've suffered that for a long time. That's why I became a Jackbox streamer, because it was the only thing that would run on my
That's a
super
good
shit PC.
idea.
It is good, but make
That-
sure you got a few more mods, because that gets super trolly. It gets super
very
trolly.
racy. Yeah.
Yeah, spice is real. The
that
spice is
and
real.
you suck at first-person shooters, Dory.
Yeah, that is
So-
also true. I'm absolutely terrible. I'm the official bullet catcher of the team on any team that I
He
There
can
always
catch-
has to be one.
That's right.
He can
it's always
catch a
me.
bullet with his face from across the map. Like
He's
he's
not wrong.
unbelievable.
He's
at
not
shopping.
wrong.
It's a special kind of talent.
He's like a reverse hacker.
Exactly. Yeah. There's always that one guy that's running across the map going, "Hey!" That's usually my character, and he gets shot in the back. It's not good, but it's fine. What they usually do is they just give me all the med packs, and then I just die close to them, and then they loot me. Kind of works out. I'll try to get the wins that way. Yeah, cool. So I mean, mainly just chatting type of stuff. How long have you been on Twitch?
So I think my account was made in 2015. I've been watching Twitch for a while. However, I just recently started streaming. I always wanted to, but I was nervous, a little chicken. And then I don't know if you guys know Invader V. Her story kind of motivated me because she was in the same boat as I was. And then she just went for it. So I told myself, yeah, I'm going to go for it too. And so it's difficult being a full-time student and working full-time and trying to stream, but I'm trying. We're trudging along.
That's how it goes. I
Cool.
don't think everyone here is not a full timer. So I mean, we all understand that that type of work grind, the real life grind, added into the Twitch grind, which is the the inevitable Twitch grind. It never ends.
What is this work you speak of?
Except for Potsy, he's a professional park cheeser. He sits around and
I'm a
makes sure Australia
professional
runs.
retired man.
There we go.
so
He's retired, so
Oh,
he's
must be
he's living the
nice.
life
Yeah.
there, sipping on his.
It's not. It's actually everyone said that for the last nearly decade. Like it must be so nice to be retired. It's not. I'm fucking 38 and I'm bored out of my mind.
You can take up gardening.
Yeah.
What would you garden?
I'm not that
Potsy?
bored.
Strawberries.
Actually, believe it or not, I do garden every year when the season comes around. I plant in corn, tomato, pumpkin, peas.
Ooh.
I can't remember. I just whatever I feel like. Like I've still got jalapenos going from last year. They're brilliant. It's like a plant that just never dies.
I would never have thought to view you as a man with a green thumb, Potsy.
I can.
You
I
strike
can
me as the
grow
guy that would
shit.
just rage quit and just kick the tomato bush over and
Just set it
be
all
done
on
with
fire.
Exactly,
Yeah.
set it on fire.
No,
Holy
I
hell.
set
Black
it all
mold
on fire
again.
once. When it all dies off, I just set it on fire and then just let it sort of sort itself out.
Good for the soil.
Stand there. Well, it is good for the soil, actually.
Yeah.
It keeps the pH level just right.
Yeah, 100%.
Mind you, now I've got a freezer that is full of fucking tomatoes that I have no idea what I'm going to do with. It's like tomato soup and sauce and bolognese for about 6 months because fuck my life.
Well, the
And,
ice age is coming, isn't it?
That's
You
true,
can
just
save
stocking
it and
up.
sell it off.
Stocking up for the ice
Yeah.
age, Pots.
Yeah, you can give you
I've got a
with
cherry
vitamin C.
tomato that'd be $1.
Yeah, right. Super expensive too.
Actually, speaking of super
Profit off of it.
expensive, we can go and get limes. Mind you, I've got a lime tree. The shit falls on the ground in the backyard. I think they were $3 each not long ago. A lime, one lime,
One
$3
lime for
each.
$3. Holy
Yeah,
hell,
that's
man.
expensive.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Oh, we had a fucking bad season, so of course, once you have a bad season, the price of stuff goes up. It's good for the blokes that deal with commodities and stuff on the stock market.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
that's 3 Aussie dollars.
it's
Okay, so that's like 50p.
three
That's
Aussie.
chill, bro.
Yeah, right.
I had to convert that into real money. I was like,
it's
wait,
like
it's
it's
not
like
that bad.
£1.75 or whatever the fuck you call it over there.
Oh shit! It's just giving you the horns, What's up, Azza? Good to see you, mate. Yeah. So I mean, you were originally from Canada, Dana, and you decided to move yourself over to the UK. What prompted the move?
So, although I was born in Toronto, I was actually raised in Florida. So I spent most of my life there. Did my undergrad there in architecture, and so actually moved over to do my master's here in Scotland because I had one of the top schools for what I wanted to specialize in. So yeah, that's why I'm here. I'll be
Yeah.
here for a couple years
Making all the right life
if
choices.
I graduate.
Making all the
Yeah,
right
right.
life choices. Going to the
Only
good
for
school.
my parents. I've got to make them proud somehow.
That's how it is. That's how it is. Like, I'm still on like 38 years, still waiting.
Phoenix
for
wants me to mail you all tomatoes, I think.
Mail us tomatoes, fantastic. I look forward to it in the mail. It's gonna be a weird package though. I'm used to getting
I'll
those
send you
from
some. I've actually got a couple of really special boxes here. I'm sending you, Dory. So
Fantastic.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to that.
Suspicious.
He does send
Yeah.
some very strange things in the mail. Although he does usually try to just get the delivery pizza. That's the worst one.
Well, speaking of weird things, there's one right behind you on your wall. So
Oh yeah, this is
not
one of
all
those
that
things. That's
weird.
a genuine Australian piece of merchandise right there. He started off some boat in Australia and sent it to me. That's fantastic. The art wall there.
Aw, that's nice. That's a nice one.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But occasionally it doesn't fall off the wall, which is also fantastic.
Yeah. Occasionally he doesn't try and smash my gifts I send him. It's
No.
wonderful. It's like a toxic relationship. You know, you
no,
just can't
it's
get away
fine.
from it.
So what's everybody else's week been up to? How's everything going? Jimbo, I know you've been hitting the Twitch things rather thick there. Anything new and exciting
Yeah.
in yours?
Yeah, that's
Good
kind
idea,
of
Val.
it, I guess. I've been doing a lot of Twitch things, and I've been what's it called? Ordering a new logo and some emotes.
Ah, yeah,
Well,
so
nice.
your branding upgrading
Nice.
soon.
Yeah, so I think the logo is done and the emotes looks almost done as well. It's actually right now got the final adjustment of the emotes as well. But I think I might need to, after the podcast, I need to message him back again because when it was zoomed in to the smallest emote version, it didn't look quite how I want it to be. But
It's always it's an intricate thing getting your artist
Yeah.
get it 100% right. Have you guys, amongst you guys, have you guys got anything like any issues with artists? Have you done anything that, Dan? Have you getting customized graphics done for yourself? Have you got that done already? Did you have a specific artist that did it for you?
So I had never done it or I had never ordered it before. Um, I kind of did everything myself. Oops. But I have recently ordered to get sub badges because my sister was working on it, but she's very busy, so I had to order some. So far it's been like a day, so I don't have an experience to share, but I hope it goes well. I've heard some horror stories, so a little nervous, but we're optimistic about it.
Yeah, I think it does also depends on the artist. Which site are you going through to get the art stuff done?
On Fiverr.
Fiverr, yeah, same. I had all of mine done. Jimbo is the same one through Fiverr. Potsy, you went through Fiverr as well when you had that experience with your artist?
No, I went through Fiverr after I had the experience with the other artist.
Okay, yeah, it's a pretty good website. I think if anybody out there that's looking at getting graphics and stuff done for themselves, Fiverr, man, can't recommend it more than.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. This is not a sponsored statement.
But you can be.
Well, hashtag
Open to sponsorship.
We are
by
open
the
to
way.
sponsorship if Fiverr wants to step in. No problem at all. Free graphics, always a good thing. I don't know if anybody saw the Instagram post that we did today, the tweets and everything, but
yes, Dan, it is a Solly Funko Pop. This is what he looks like when I annoy him long enough.
there we go. There's our stand-in Canadian there. That's our image of Soul Claim that we've got visiting with Potsy at the moment. Actually, pretty good to be honest. Never noticed that before, but that is pretty much close to it. Yeah, we were saying talking about the Instagram post. We had a very fantastic sponsorship thrown in there. Not really a sponsorship, but she had a Nutella. We all had mugs holding up, so we're all sitting with them with mugs, and she just holds up this Nutella. It was an absolute blast. I laughed so hard. It was great.
Over in Europe, it seems to be like a favorite, or like a luxury. Another streamer I know, he Ruder. Don't try and look him up because his name's all fucked up with numbers and letters. But he has a drink called the Rutella, and it is milk, and then you need to take Nutella and something else, put it all in the cup, put it in the microwave for like a minute and a half, take it out, stir the shit out of it, put it back in so it's almost fucking scalding hot, and that's his drink because he lets it sit for a while and then drinks it. And he says it's the best drink he's ever made.
So it's like a chocolate milk.
Really? It's like a chocolate hazelnut bloody milkshake.
That sounds good. Yeah.
I just couldn't
Tell me more.
understand. I couldn't understand why you put it in the microwave for so long though. Like, does it foam the milk? Wouldn't it just
You gotta melt the chocolate?
Melt the chocolate. There it is. There.
True.
Make it thinking outside the box.
It's still gonna burn the shit out of your face if you try and drink it.
Some people like that.
Yeah, that's actually true. Some people like it nuclearized. I let mine pretty much get cold most of the time. I can't handle drinks. I try and handle it.
But yeah, I remember someone asked me about it one day, and he said that like over there, Nutella's a big thing. It's like it's just on the shelf for us here. It's like Vegemite, it's just a staple that sits in your pantry.
Yeah.
I'll send you some Vegemite too, Dory.
Thanks, mate. But there's a stack in the cupboard at work, and I think it's been there for about 8 months. It never does. It's never.
You can have that shit in your cupboard for 20 years.
It's gonna be the last thing we're gonna see is Potsy living in the ice age. It'll be year 5 of the Australian ice age. It's just Potsy surrounded by Vegemites. Oh gosh.
Actually, that wouldn't be a bad toasty, wouldn't it? If I could make my own bread, then I could just
Nutella,
have like Vegemite and tomato
toasties. Good God.
Mm.
That sounds hideous.
That'd be
Oh,
good.
fucking lie. That sounds hideous.
I'd end up with a shitload of gout.
Chocolate yeast.
Chocolate yeast. Yikes. Yikes.
There is nothing chocolate about Vegemite.
We're talking about Nutella.
True that. True that. Did you guys want to go through any specific clips from this week of any of your guys' streams that you had as an interesting thing? I'm not sure if anybody wanted to do that. We did it last week, and I thought it was quite cool.
Yeah, I did
Discorded
send
one too.
you one. Yeah, I did send one as well.
Yes, Jimbo's got one here. So I'm going to try something. If this fails, I'm going to go straight back to where we were and do it the old school way. So bear with me as I test something new. I'm testing something new. This could suck. It could be weird. I'm going to try something. Give me a sec. Let's see if this works. No, it completely...
Did it work?
It works! It works! Look at that!
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's so cute.
Here we go. So, all right, this is the new
So
media
this is a clip from after my stream. I rated this girl because she is one of my favorite Twitch Sing streamer, and she watched a part of our duet that I did right before raiding her.
All right, cool. Let's check it out. This is
Pretty
Jimbojp's clip
liked
of the
it.
week.
I liked it.
Singing. If you don't follow him, I don't know why. Go do it. He's got a mustache, okay? Got a mustache. But don't you fall in love with the mustache?
Got a mustache. You never felt this
Wow.
way. What a wicked thing to do. To make me dream of
Jimbo.
you.
You're kicking it, Jimbo.
I don't wanna fall in love.
Dude, I'm buying Jimbo's album, mate. I'm buying Jimbo's album. That's all I'm saying. Holy hell, that's great.
I'll buy it as long as it's like titled The Mustache Master Blaster.
It has to be. It has to be entitled that. All right, cool. So let's swap back.
And like I did say, I was they're hosting an unofficial Twitch Sing contest that I applied for right before stream today. So,
Oh, cool.
Good
All right, all
luck.
right.
so we'll see
Very
if I'm
cool.
get it's 16 people, so I don't know. It's probably gonna be a ton of people applying for it, but we'll see if I'll be one of the lucky 16 to be in.
Nice.
Fingers
Nice.
crossed.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So let's check it out there now. So that was Jimbo's clip of the week. Mega's sending me something that looks very similar. I think it's a clip of him and Jimbo singing together. So
Much classier.
much classier. So let's check this out. Hold on, let me just grab it up here, put it on the side, and let's have a look at MegaGremlin's clip of the week with Jimbojp. Here we go.
We're doing a rematch. What's up, Mega? Looking fine in those glasses over there? Oh, yeah. Let's go, Mega. Oh, yeah, we're gonna rock this one out. I can feel it.
You boys look good for this.
Last night a little dancer came dancing
Jory,
to
I
my
just threw one on
door.
Discord for you as well.
Last night my little
Joey.
angel came pumping on the floor. Let's go!
She said, "Come on, baby, I got a license for love,
You have love for this mustache.
and if it expires, pray hell from above."
Oh my god, the brush.
In the midnight hour, she cried more. And with a rebel yell, she cried more.
Fantastic. We're gonna, if you guys want to see that whole duet, that's gonna be available on his
Yeah, you can find that on Jimbo's channel if you want to see it.
on Jimbo.
Yeah, that's not because I did the duet. It's saved on my.
Oh, Potsy, come on, mate. This one again. Come on, you got to find a better clip than this.
Hey, I like the yes cannons.
All right, hold on. All right, so this is a regular occurrence for people that don't know and haven't been around. Oof. Occasionally, when we stay up late and watch streams, because our time frames are all around the world, I tend to fall asleep in the appearance. It happens. I think that I'm in a nice, safe appearance with my mates watching streams together, and guess what? I'm not. I'm with PottsieTV, and the result is this clip that's going to be coming up in a second. Here, change it on the screen here.
Or it is nothing of like that nature at all.
We'll see. I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. All right, cool. So what this is what is this? Potsy, explain this one while we load it up.
Okay, for you guys that don't know, the Deadpool show, we go and jump on it every week, and we make poor Mr. Deadpool here dance around like a moron for hours on end. It's the most irrelevant fucking shit that we can find on the YouTube machine, to the point where our donations and requests break the machine, and he gets to listen to Squeaky Foam for 10 hours, or the Meow Cat song, or Jimbojp's
Oh my
Swinging the
God.
Sword song.
All right, so
Anything trolley we can think of. And this was a donation because Dory had just gone to bed. So I thought,
God.
oh, well, maybe we can send a request in for Dory.
All right, here we
So
go.
I sent him
Very nice. Thank
2
you
minutes
so much
of
for your
farts.
farts,
Oh
Dory.
my gosh.
You know what? I'm gonna do this for Dory right now for your request. Yes,
He did the
Yes.
S cannons. That's cool.
yes, yes. You farted, Dory. Oh God.
Okay, there we go. So, Jesus, things that happen when you go to bed in this place. You never know. Alrighty. Dana, you got any particular clips you want to send in for the week?
No, I don't. I wish I was more interesting.
Oh,
It's all good.
I'll do some fun things one day and then I'll send them to you and we can
we'll
all
have you
laugh
back,
about
yeah.
Let me just look here. I'm just trying to find my one that I posted the other day. Give me. Oh, because. Yeah, stop. This is a new segment, so it's a little bit weird. I haven't done this before, but grab this fiction here. This one was one of the funniest things I've seen in a while. Made me laugh every time I've seen it. I don't know if you guys caught the GTA 5 RP I was doing with Robert 99 UK, but this scene was an interesting way that I decided to park the boat while we were doing our GTA 5 RP. Let me swap it out over here to show you guys. Here we go.
We can get the.
What is this? What is this little tennis racket from the side, Betty?
We can go and play tennis. We're back where we started.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna park. I'm gonna park this boat right here. Did I do it right? Did I do it right? Is this where we park?
Good job. You can tell you're a captain.
Trust him.
Yeah.
There we go. I didn't want to get my suit wet, okay? I didn't want to get my. Cool. Alright, no worries. That was quite a good one from the week. Alright, cool. That was fun.
So, mental note is, when I hire the boat at TwitchCon, Dory's not driving.
I'm not driving it. Yeah, 100%. Alright, cool. So that's the clips of the week section. It's a new thing we're trying to add in every week, just trying to get some interesting clips and stuff from what everyone's been doing. So, I think without further ado, if we don't want to make this show go on for another 3 hours, let's get into the meat and bones of it and start going through some of the interesting things. Let's jump into our first segment of the night, and that of course is This Week in Twitch. Alrighty, I sent out an interesting one this week. I'm going to post it into the chat now. Something that Twitch is coming under fire for was they featured some pole dancing on the front page, on the actual front page, and not just your regular like fitness pole dancing. This was some raunchy stuff. That was featured right on the front page of the Twitch main sector, and people are up in arms. Apparently, it was for some wrestling site or something like that. But before the wrestling show, they had a full-on pole dancing extravaganza with some very interesting maneuvers being pulled off. Things that Jimbo's never seen in his life.
We're gonna fix that at TwitchCon, you know.
Hey, we can't confirm or deny anything like that. We don't know what is going to go on.
Oh no, it's confirmed. I'm taking
We're gonna throw Jimbo to the lions. It's gonna be fun. So yeah. So I mean, what do you guys think about this? Do you think somebody done fucked up at Twitch? Is this just negligence? Is it maybe they was misinformed? What is your opinion of this kind of content going on the main page? And who do you think? Do you think there should be any repercussions? It's on the page. I'm not going to show the clip of it because obviously it is against TOS, which is why the up in arms about it being on the front page is such a thing. Because I mean, we've all seen people getting banned for way less stuff than this, and this is done by them, handpicked as they say, content for their main page.
But is pole dancing against TOS though? Because isn't there streamers that does?
It's not if it's done in a specific way. But if you watch the clips of this is pretty much like you at the strip club. You know what I mean? There's
I don't know. I didn't think it looked that bad.
Jimbo's ready.
No, I mean.
All right, Ragnar.
Oh,
they weren't like they had clothes.
They don't want to work.
Yeah.
Oh, the club, they can remove the clips now. Oh, that's too bad. They were working earlier, but they must have been taken out. So that bodes even more. If now the clips have been removed from Twitch, that means somebody's taken some action and seen that these articles are going out and that this is a big thing. So that's almost an admission by Twitch that they've made a mistake. Dana, what do you think about this type of content going up on the main page? Do you think the channel should be held responsible for putting it out there? Is it Twitch's own mistake for putting it in the public eye in front of everybody like this? I mean, what's your opinion on this type of content going up on the main page?
I think Twitch, obviously, they can see what post is going up on the front page, and they should have known that something like this would be very controversial. Especially, I don't know if you guys know, Velvet Seven was recently banned for dancing, and they said that her content was sexual or like suggestive, and to ban someone for dancing and then to feature something like this on the front page of your website, it's just what can we do, what can we not do? It's not in tune at all with their terms of service. I don't know what they're doing. Are they confused?
Exactly. I mean, we've seen over the last couple of weeks, like a whole bunch of streamers for content way less than this getting 7 to 30 day bans. And now I think they haven't even banned the channel that it was on at all. The wrestling website, their Twitch channel is still up and active, no problem at all. They're called no ban, even though it was
But it's interesting though, because if you read the article, it says that this guy, because he obviously knew that he was gonna be front page, like a couple of days before, and he had posted like the kind of like what was going to be going on this day. So there was like an event list of things going on, and this was also listed in there. So Twitch staff should have probably read it and then maybe, I don't know, reacted beforehand. I don't know.
Mhm.
Do you think the channel still deserves to get a ban for showing TOS content, or is this, I mean, whose fault? What's going on here? Because they've clearly violated the TOS, even to the point where they can't deny it was violated because it was on the front freaking page. Everybody saw it, but they're still not getting anything.
So the problem that Twitch has here is if they don't hold the channel responsible, they are basically saying that Twitch is the arbiter of what's acceptable or not. And so if they hold the individual responsible or the channel responsible, Twitch can still say, well, we're not an editor, we're a medium, right?
Yeah.
So they can divorce themselves from the liability if someone shows something actually illegal, right? But if they're now saying, well, we took the channel, or we took the content off, they now have become an editor, so they're going to have an attachment to liability now if they don't ban the content provider.
But also, in a way, if they had said that they would have that kind of content on their stream and Twitch still didn't act on it, I don't think the channel is at fault, because they did warn Twitch in a way. And Twitch was the one who didn't. Maybe they didn't expect it to be as raunchy as it was, but still, they should have.
But it seems like that's the kind of content where you'd have your finger hovering over the cut button.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Like a 7-second delay. But it seems to me that there are pockets within Twitch corporate that aren't on the same message. Like the marketing team says, well, this is going to get us drive huge amounts of views and show lots of ads. So sales and marketing are like, let's do it. And then, other parts of the organization are trying to, I don't want to say that the content's not legitimate, but they're trying to move towards a more, family friendly atmosphere.
Because I could think of it happen like it went up the chain few steps, and then one somewhere in the chain someone said it was okay, and then it stopped there, and then when it came controversial, it's continued up, and then oh shit, maybe we shouldn't have done this.
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. It's down, like people that are monitoring at Twitch. It's down to their own personal interpretation at times. It's like, is this like, because they've been given a guideline, and they've got to make a judgment call on that. And for all we know, it could have got to someone that after work they take their buddy paycheck and go to the strippers. So they're going to go, this is normal. There's nothing wrong with it. It could have been that, or it could have been someone literally was hungover and fell asleep at the computer. It's like, oh, they'll be fine. It's just conked out.
Yeah,
I mean, no, but without actually seeing it, I can't make a judgment call. But if there is a line between sexual contact and sexual content and raunch, and
let's just say there wasn't much left to the imagination with what was going on.
Content.
It was something I definitely, if I had my kids landing on the front page of Twitch, I'd be going, what website are you watching right now? If I saw that type of thing, I'd be like, this is not on.
In that case, yeah.
Yeah, but because we don't know that, was it marked as mature?
Even so, Mark is
doesn't
mature.
matter
It's
if-
on the front page. It's force fed to you. You know what I mean? It's in that
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
rotating
should-
thing of channels.
but
There's
then
no
should-
there's
will
no
it-
tick box.
Any
Well, it
mature
all-
content
okay.
shouldn't be on the front page, then, really.
True. Yeah. I wonder if that's a thing. If they don't actually mark any content or any marked content as mature cannot make it onto the front page.
But
Sorry
in
about
saying that, I think people are no, they're getting offended by it. They're probably the people that get offended by other people breathing. Like I don't know when society started becoming so prudish again when it come to a lot of stuff, but
Well-
you know it is
well,
what it is.
for-
There are
for my
guidelines,
country,
and you
it
got to
was-
stick within it.
It was from the get-go for my country. We've been prude since the 1600s.
They were founded on it. That's how it goes. They left the wild lands of England.
Yes. America
the-
built
the-
on
the
the
problem
missionary
being
position.
Is without a consistent overall message from Twitch, it's difficult for anyone to make business
It is.
decisions
That's
for their
true.
own channels.
Well,
How
100%.
do,
and
how do I advertise? How do I tell my
Um,
my peers what it is that I do if I'm on,
But also
a
at the
not
same
family
time,
friendly channel.
if it wasn't good enough to be, or if it wasn't good enough that it had been taken down, then it should not have been good enough to be allowed to be aired. So regardless of who's pointing fingers at what, the content that is put out there is still down to the responsibility of the content creator and the channel owner. So
Oh yeah,
if it's been taken down and they've gone, well, we fucked up here, the onus is also on the channel owner.
Yeah.
yeah,
they
I mean,
should
it's already
cop some
about
sort
what
of
sort of
repercussion
backlash
from it.
they're going to get at the end of the day, because you can't be handing out 30-day bans, 7-day bans to everybody else for dancing to just dance, and then these
That's
are
true.
showing raunchy shit on the front page don't catch anything. That just doesn't
but
make
yeah, and hopefully internally somebody who was warned that that's the content they were providing and then allowed it is also going to pay.
Yeah, 100%. We'll
Yeah,
stick.
but you can't just put a bloody automatic ban on anyone that goes, oh, I'm going to be doing pole dancing, that is going to go, nope, sorry, can't do that. You can't do that because there is pole dancing out there that is done as fitness,
Yeah,
and there's
fitness,
nothing wrong
yeah.
with it.
Mhm.
It might
Mhm.
be a little bit raunchy,
Not
but
even
it's
so. I
there's,
mean,
there's a very fine line between raunch and well, what you go to a strip club for.
even so,
Yeah,
I mean, as long as it stays within the boundaries of what the TOS states, then it should be acceptable content.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that this clearly wasn't within the bounds of that. If it was shown on the front page, and there was no backlash on the channel. That was the biggest thing. I think the biggest point of contention that most people had with the whole situation was just the lack of response, even though it was clearly
Well,
featured.
Yeah, if they don't do something about it, people that are cop bans for something that might be perceived as being far less inappropriate are going to really start taking up arms and marching down to California and shooting the place up, going, "We demand justice!" It's just fuck.
Well, I mean, let's.
you
Yeah, sorry, Karen Mega.
Mega. Yeah, keep going, Mega.
Oh, was it you,
No.
Buzz? I was like, I thought I heard Mega
Yeah,
start something.
yeah.
Like, what? My brain, it's these earbuds. I'm telling you, it's driving me mad. Well, that feeds us into another story that I saw. Because we obviously just stick with the ban things, and I'll mix the order around a little bit here. But one of the other streamers that caught a ban this week was Savannah Sushi. She was sitting there and poolside. So I mean, this is a regular sort of like stream. People hanging out by the pool. There's nothing wrong with that. That's cool. She caught a ban for basically demanding subs for the poolside content. She was out there and she was saying, I'm gonna stop streaming and go inside if you guys don't sub. And she caught a ban saying that if I don't get, I think the exact quote is, if there's not more than 20 subscribes today, I'm not going to be doing this stream ever again. I'm just saying, subscribe, follow, and you'll see a lot more of my poolside streams. For that, she's caught herself, I think it's a...
Doesn't say.
I'm
that.
pretty sure that is against TOS. You can't
Mhm.
It's
demand.
solicitation,
yeah.
right?
She just got out
It's
of
like
a
saying
ban
for
too.
And she's always jumping in.
It's
and
like
out.
saying for every sub, I'll do a shot of tequila. Like Dory, one, you'd be dead,
I'd be dead,
and
yes.
two, you'd be kicked off Twitch.
100%. I
You
just drink for
can't-
fun.
People have got to sub to you organically. You can't put things out there to say, "I'll do this if you sub," because it's just no. It's just a no. You can't do shit like that.
Yeah. Well, and the TOS says too that you can wear revealing clothing if
As long as it's contextual.
organic to the as long as it's contextual. So if you're at poolside, it's okay to wear a bikini, but if you're at poolside because you're using your body to drive views, then you know.
Well, it's interesting. Her response to it, her response to it back, she sent out I think a tweet the next day, and she said, "If you think titty streamers are stealing your viewers, are those truly the viewers you want?
No.
All these tweets about booby streamers are so annoying. Can we all just move on and stop being toxic about boobs? We all love boobs."
No,
This was her response.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm not
Didn't
saying.
she just do exactly that though? I'll wear a bikini for subs.
Well,
that's essentially what she's saying, and then she's giving shit to fucking boob streamers. What a
no,
fuckwit.
she's saying she's saying that she doesn't give a shit, and that like it is what it is. And why is everyone getting up in arms because she's out there, doing her thing?
I mean, I don't care either way, to be honest with you, because it's her decision to make. But I mean, the terms of service are what they are, and clearly, taking money for showing your body off is not something that you're supposed to be doing on Twitch, although they allow it quite a bit.
Yeah,
I think using subscribers or donations as any sort of incentive, no matter the context, it's not allowed. So saying I'll do a dare for each sub that I get, also that's not allowed either. So
okay, yeah, fair.
I think flirting with the TOS in because some streamers they do that and it's okay, and some again it's just the inconsistency
Some
where
get
people
hammered,
think they can do it and they do it and they get in trouble for it. So I think the whole issue, it comes down again to where is the consistency? What can
None.
all of them be on the same page so we know how do we flirt with this TOS?
Yeah, how can you push up against the edge without going over?
Exactly.
I agree. Yeah.
I think just clarification for us as content creators so that we know exactly what the line is, and that they at least are consistent with the banning on the back end, because is this she supposed to catch a 7-day, a 3-day, a 30-day? There's no set guideline on any of that. It's someone makes a judgment call somewhere based on it, and I don't know if I've never seen any clear guidelines put out that says if you go this far, it's 30 days. If you go this far, it's 7 days. If you go this far, it's 3 days. And maybe they do that for a reason, though. I'm just thinking about it, because if you know you can push to a certain edge and 3 days you're going to catch a ban, but you don't stream for the next 3 days, you wouldn't give a shit. You're going to break the content rules, take the 3-day ban, and then just carry on going, when you're back on your regular schedule, because it's going to be worth it for you for whatever you get out of breaking the TOS if it works for you. So I guess that's probably why they don't give you a set number based on a set of guidelines.
Yeah, but then the same thing, if you know that it can go up to this point and you're only going to catch a 3-day ban, do I do this and then come back in 3 days or 7 days because it's going to be financially worth it for me? Like, this is going to drive drive views to my content, the potential subs, donations, bits, all that sort of good gear.
Yeah.
Is it worth it financially? Should I do this calculated risk? It's not like bannable, it's a suspension. And I don't know, like, some stuff we've seen and it's been 30 days. It's like, really, that got 30 days? What the fuck? And then we've seen other stuff. It's like, why is this person only being shut down for 3? And it's like,
that's so true.
Because whoever you happen to get that day makes an individual decision. There's too much discretion in too many people's hands is really the problem.
What's up, Baker? Good to see you.
Sitting above them who actually has the discretion.
Yeah, because we've seen other stuff where a streamer has said something, they've had no violations of anything beforehand. They've said one thing and they've been completely removed off the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow, that person must have had like a bad day, or maybe there's something else in the background we don't quite know about. Maybe they don't like their content, think this is a good reason to get them off our platform.
Mm-hmm. Or even accidentally saying something, like an utterance, which we've seen lately. Some people say something on accident and no one bats an eyelash, and someone else says it on accident or something that sounds similar to it, and they're banned. It's
they didn't even say what they thought, and they pull a 7. Yeah, I would like to see the first level of whoever's making that decision only be able to give out a 1-day ban.
Just to
Because
immediately shut down the stream and take
that
him
gives
off.
their supervisors 24 hours to figure out what the appropriate ban is. So you don't have, tier one support says, oh well, this is a 30-day or this is a 7-day.
Well, I mean,
It should go to tier 2 or tier 3 before they actually determine it.
it's also interesting which type of content Twitch takes more seriously than other content based on its TOS. It's almost like there's a prioritization system. Because I mean, if we look at this next article that I found as well, where we're talking about the Overwatch Pro Delor, he was he had his ban reduced from a permanent ban to a 30-day ban, and he's happy with that because of what he said. He made some he's a controversial guy. He's done a whole bunch of stuff before. He was kicked off on Overwatch, his Overwatch team, for doing racist remarks during the tournament. The latest thing he was doing was during an Apex thing. He was busy hurling abuse at a female teammate with some sexist commentary at him. I'm not going to repeat it. You guys can read an article if you want. And he knew what he'd done as soon as he'd done it, and he calmed down immediately. I think he knew he'd pushed the boundaries on this one, and he copped a permaban, like not a 30-day, not 5, not a 7, a permaban for a comment. Then obviously he sent out a couple of tweets or whatever it is to Twitch saying, he's been indefinitely banned. Please don't take it away from me. I know I'm controversial. Basically begging for his job back. And Twitch reduced him from a permanent ban to a 30-day ban. Do you think that you should be able to campaign like this, even though you're a repeat offender, and be given this kind of leniency from a permanent ban to a 30-day ban? Do you think they should hold strong in this situation? And why is this type of content given a different level of attention than somebody else doing something else on the TOS? What sort of priority system do we use to guide ourselves and judge what should be getting permabans, what should be getting 30 days? I mean, whose criteria do we take? What do we think as content creators should be at the top of the list, where you kicked off forever, versus something that, hey, take a 3-day break, you were freaking out, that type of thing.
I don't know how many times has he been called out on it before, and how many times has he been suspended? We've seen another streamer in the past where his controversial content was to the point where he's every few days he was getting 24 hours or 3 days or a week, until they finally said, you know what, just fuck this guy off because he's just a problem, sick of dealing with him. And now he's gone, thank God. But I think you've just got to get to the point, and it's like, if you've been banned permanently, not a suspension, just permanently banned, leave them there. You got rid of them for a reason. Fuck what their campaigns might be on Twitter, even if they're doing a bloody tweet every half an hour saying, oh, Twitch this, Twitch that. It shouldn't matter. Twitch should stand their ground, and because now they've just set a standard saying that if you bully us on social media, we will unban you, which I think is crap.
I agree with you there, because there was a similar situation with Helena Live where she said something controversial on stream, and she still she ended up harassing, I think, a staff member as well, but they stood their ground. So in a way, I think it's unfair that whoever was taking care of his case said, okay, well, we'll give you another chance. I don't think it's fair at all, because you took a career away from someone else, but you're giving this career back to, and I understand that Twitch, at the end of the day, they have to think about their sponsorships, and they don't want to end up in a situation that YouTube was in with advertisements and people taking away sponsorships and things. But it's just,
such a mess.
It's all
Well, pretty
over
much,
the place.
if I had him, if I was Twitch and I had him affiliated with me, I'd be disgusted with myself. It's like, do I really want to be joined to this person?
That's why he got kicked off his Overwatch professional team, because he was just he's a mess.
I'd get rid of him, and then I'd send him a bag of dicks to his house. But here you go.
And that's the Australian way, right there.
The confetti bag of dicks.
She's seen it. She's seen it
too.
Well done.
I love that site. It's great. There's another site, but I wasn't going to use that one.
That's why I live in fear of my mailbox, because I know Pottie's going to send me one of those exploding ones one of these days.
One day, your mailbox will explode.
I just know it. I live in fear.
And it'll be glorious confetti everywhere.
I will live in fear. Oh God, it's terrible.
Yeah, but I definitely think he is on his last life now, for sure.
Yeah,
I think they should just left him there. Like, if he's had this issue before, and he obviously is a toxic fuck. If he's been kicked out and bloody disbanded from everywhere else, obviously he's got problems. Fuck knows what they are. Don't really care. Just go deal with them, then come back. Go get some help.
Yeah.
You can't be that way towards people.
And Bertie makes the comment in the chat that if he knows he's controversial, he should watch what he's saying. You know what I mean? And as it says, if he can't respect the rules, then he shouldn't be streaming. And that's it. You know, at the end of the day, you can be a controversial person. You can have an opinion. We've got an Australian that does that every day. You know, but you know, he doesn't cross the TOS lines. You know what I mean? That he'll bring it to the edge and he'll have his say. But you know,
I'll kick the
feel like I
boundary
have to
now
say
and
this
then.
every week, but it stems from people thinking of this as their personal platform and forget that it's part of a large corporation and they're just a content provider.
Do you think it comes down to the psychology of the fact that we mainly stream in our home environments and everyone feels really comfortable? I mean, Dana, I mean, you basically, you're sitting at home, you're doing just chatting, you're literally just having conversations all day. You get really comfortable. I mean, even to the point like today, you were chatting to your sister, you know, like live on stream. Do these type of things concern you? Like, where do you forget what you were talking about and say something? Do you actively think about what you're saying all the time? Even when you bring guests and stuff on, are you aware of these type of things that someone could say something and your channel could be taken away like that?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's obviously something that I think about, but in the moment, I believe whenever chat is hyping you up to do something, or if he does have that kind of controversial aspect about his channel, he knows if he says something, he's going to get a rise out of chat, and maybe he'll get a clip onto live stream fails, more exposure, more people coming in. It's just something that I feel like it becomes an addiction at some point, and you end up taking it too far. So I think he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's saying is wrong, but he's just like, how far can I push it? Like, how much exposure can I get from this until I get in trouble for it? It's like tiptoeing on thin ice, you know?
Yeah, the thing is, if that's what the exposure you're going for, and it's like, I'm going to be just a toxic menace on the platform, then you're going to have to expect a lot of backlash, both from the type of viewers that you're bringing over, but Twitch is going to go, do we really want this as a representation of what we are? Yeah, fair enough, you got freedom of speech and you can go this, and this is the guidelines, you haven't gone over it. Fine. But when you go over it, expect to be fucking punished, and then don't go and fucking whinge and cry on other social platforms that, oh, Twitch has been unfair. I'm so sorry. I won't do it again. I guarantee you, I gave him a month before he fucking steps on his dick again. And then he goes, oh, I didn't mean to do it. And it's like, mate, you just.
Well, now that he got that chance, he's going to keep doing it because he knows, like, oh, I cried about it last time and they gave me another chance. It's kind of like I think cheating in relationships where you forgive them once and they're like, okay, well, she forgave me last time, so if I do it again, she'll probably forgive me again.
And he's going to expect that exact happen. It's like, oh no, we're not unbanning you. Oh, but you did last time. You know, this is so unfair. It's like, oh, how many chances do you need?
And now other people are going to use it as an excuse too. Like, he said something way worse than I did, and you gave him another chance. So why aren't you giving me one as well?
100%. It sets a very dangerous precedent.
Yeah, you can't set the precedent and then expect nothing else to come in in the future. He should have just stayed where he was, and that's in the bin.
I'm for second chances though.
Jimbo, you think you should get a second chance? You in for letting? How many second chances is enough though?
Yeah, that's another question. But I think everyone can make mistakes and then perhaps learn from it and get a second chance. And then if you mess it up again, then.
But it's not just like Twitch that he's made the mistakes on. Like, he's been kicked off his own professional bloody team. Like, his own teammates don't want him because this guy is bringing nothing but shit. We don't want shit. Leave it in the other bloody channels.
Yeah.
Which is pretty mature of them. They've gone, oh well, we've had to get rid of a player. But then again, there's millions of people that play Overwatch, and there's probably
so much money involved.
It is big. You'll see later when we cover the Twitch channel where they're sitting. Big.
So, you know,
we'll get
I'm sure they'll be able
toxic.
to pick. We'll get someone just as good and less toxic, and we'll train with them for a few months, get to know each other's moves, and then away they go. They're probably better off in the long run, even if it is a bit of a speed bump now. So.
All right, so Bertie brings up an interesting idea that perhaps could be a way of looking at these type of problems. He says he believes there should be a Twitch democracy, and they should have 1,000 people, for example, pick a random number, and ask them if they should be unbanned, and let us as content providers judge him as basically a jury of his peers and say whether he should be banned or unbanned. I think that could be good, but it also could be very heavily swayed if the
Yeah.
person was.
Great. So they're going to have a
Campaigned
jury
against.
pool for Twitch. I don't even go to my own bloody jury pool. Shit.
You'd be like, sorry guys, I gotta cut stream. I'm going to jury duty. I gotta judge these 13 fuckwits that said dodgy shit during their stream, and then one pole dancer over here on the side. We're gonna make a decision. You know, it's. I don't know. Do you guys think that's a viable option, or do you think it's just got to be handled the way they're doing it now, where it's Twitch is the judge, the jury,
Well,
and
way
the
they-
executioner?
I think they need to expand their staff. I think Twitch is probably heavily understaffed. So
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
be consistent. I
Yeah.
think having a jury
that's-
of Twitch stream or people who watch Twitch, it would be really difficult because you would have a lot of personal bias. People have probably seen these streamers or heard about them, or they have friends. So it would be a personal opinion. I don't like this guy, so I'm going to vote against him. Whereas,
Right.
jury duty in real life, you're not connected to this person on the stand in
Mm.
most cases. So
That's a very valid point.
Yeah, and they'll act. I mean, at least in the U.S., they actively remove you from the jury pool if you have connections to the case or the person in any way, even tangentially.
Interesting.
this is
Yeah,
true.
I don't know if it would work as a jury duty thing. It's an interesting point to bring it up, but I don't think it practically. I think just imagine how many cases they got to review as well, and now you got to gather 500 people to click a yes or no vote. We'd be getting emails with vote on today's bannable streamers, and our email be like, put in the spam, put in the spam.
imagine how entertaining the stream would be though, having right
Telling you.
there.
That could be interesting.
Ban
Twitch,
or no ban.
like a Twitch
No,
Twitch
because then
Judge
you-
TV, Judge
if
Judy
you did that
Judge.
as a stream, you'd
Well, an
be able
episode
to
of the
show
world.
people the bloody content that you're judging. So
You're going to
re-showing it. You
regurgitate
have
the same
people-
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have people that come along. It's like, oh, I can get on this bloody Twitch fails fucking jury duty channel, whatever the hell you call it. I can do something really stupid and get banned, and then it just encourage people. I think
Yeah. Oh, a certain type
just
of
to
person
get
anyway.
Anything
just
to
to
appear
get
on
have
someone
some
else's
sort
channel.
notoriety. Just no.
Easy exposure as well.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
That's the
Get
thing.
me on the stand.
Yeah.
20K viewers, hell yeah, I'll be there.
There it is. There it is. Done for 20K. All right,
Bloody
so
sales.
yeah, it's it's an interesting one, and it's actually surprisingly this week there haven't been as many bans as usual. I mean, we have about 6 or 7, then we go through. It was a relatively light week. People been relatively behaving themselves on Twitch this week, so it's not too
People are
bad.
Well, hopefully the
Scared.
message is getting through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's the case. It's not,
Exactly. Bertie says he'd watch that channel. I don't know. Twitch Judge Judy does have quite interesting entertainment value for it. I know if it wasn't such a
true.
heavy subject, it could be quite fun to watch. To be honest,
Judge Judy, that'd be interesting.
Twitch Judge Judy. My God, what are we doing here?
You can have fake make up stories instead. Then that's not really TOS, and then pretend it is.
That could be cool. That could be a cool
That'd be
show
a cool show.
actually, and just see how the chat decides to vote or that type of thing. Good lord, could be fun. Could be fun. Have to think about it. All right, so let's move into the next section that we were looking at. This one is an article here that Shroud was talking about. We're talking about toxic communities and everything. He explained why he didn't want his community to turn into execution. So there was a little bit of a going on there this week with Shroud. He was saying
throwing some shade.
and I don't. And I think that a lot of people were instantly, as soon as he said it, were like, "Well, what do you mean? Is there a controversy? Is there something going on?" He was talking about not about XQC himself. He was talking about the community and the type of
community around it.
toxicity that generally goes on in XQC's chat versus his not being as bad, and him not wanting to have that type of environment. And I think all of us as content creators, we've all said we want a specific type of community that surrounds our channel. Some people thrive in the toxic environment. Some people thrive in a more positive environment. Jimbo, what you've been recently going around the Twitch Sings community? What type of community are you experiencing in there? Is it quite a positive place, or is it a little bit trolly? Because I can imagine it can be quite trolly at sometimes if people are
I
good or
haven't
bad.
actually seen. I think I've only seen one troll. One time that was attacking not the streamer himself, but the one he was duetting with. So he was like, you can talk shit about me how much you want, and I can just give you shit back and stuff, but don't talk about other people that's maybe not even here to defend themselves.
Yeah.
So he got kicked out. But I mean, in general though, the Twitch Sing community, they are like super friendly and positive. That's kind of what I like most about it.
Do you think that's
Well, it's that
because it's a
creative
new community?
isn't it?
Yeah, it could be that it's kind of a new one.
Yeah.
Everyone is supporting each other and like stops by to each one's channels and says hi and we do it and
Yeah,
chill.
I've had a lot of good experiences in there. Well, I think
Wholesome.
Yeah.
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 Well, you have to show a certain amount of vulnerability just to do it. So I think people are more sympathetic to that who
Yeah.
are also singing. So yeah, it definitely is a very, very friendly community.
So I mean, so that's Jimbo's community that he's running around at the moment. Mega, you do a lot of single player experiences type of thing. I think you were
Mhm.
doing Horizon Dawn over the last couple of weeks or whatever it was.
Yeah.
What have you experienced changing through the different games? Because you do a variety of different games. As you know, as you play through them, you change to a different community. Have you found there's different communities based on different games, or is it the gaming community is more of a one whole community, not as a per game specific?
Yeah. Well, I like to think of my stream as a community that happens to have a game going on in it.
Yeah,
so
true.
I do get different people coming in, but the ones who stay are fairly like-minded. So as I'm going to have slower growth, obviously, because of that. But I think in the long run, I'll have a much stronger community for it.
Okay, yeah, it is. I mean, it is that.
Yeah, well, the problem is that the toxic community is just that. You can have them in your channel, the ones that just spam crap over and over again. You can leave them there and you not deal with them. And you're going to grow for the simple fact is they've been booted out of 90% of all the other channels that they go to. So they've limited to what they can go and do. So all of a sudden you've got this, this guy that's made a quick headline and the community's gone over there and it's like, oh, wow, I can actually do shit. I can type in here. I can do stuff. I'm not getting banned. And because they allow it. And
Right.
I think, yeah, you've got a lot of viewers and a lot of followers. You haven't got a community. Like you've just got a toxic cesspool of everything else that's being rejected from the rest of
That's
Twitter.
true. That's true.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we need that so that these guys don't go out, or girls, whatever, don't go out and make more accounts and then come back to the same old channels and annoy us because we just ban you again. So we do need these communities, unfortunately.
That'd be hard though. Like if, because maybe for someone that with exclusive, he has like 10,000 of people watching him. The chat is just going like this in 100 miles per hour. So I mean,
well,
if he didn't pull the brake, now it's impossible. So I mean, I don't think he really can do anything about it.
True. I mean, we've always said that when it's about that level, it's almost like a different animal. It's chat becomes an entity in itself. It's not an individual.
They kind of take over the community.
100%.
Well, Shroud's got it so that you can watch his content, but you can't type in his chat unless you're a sub, and that's fair enough because what's his numbers at the moment? Something stupid anyway. And he's trying to limit the amount of crap that goes through his chat feed. And I actually can sit down in a bloody bloke's channel, watch him play some epic game or epic gaming because he's just phenomenal. He's a freak at all these first person shooters, and actually enjoy the chat because it's moving at a slow enough pace where it's not just some idiot with the bloody.
It's just emotes.
With just emotes. Just
Control V, Control V, Control V.
Exactly. Exactly. 1,000 faces going past.
I can't stand that, and that's the first thing that puts me off going to a channel. Someone that's sitting there and just Control Ving fucking paragraphs of crap going over and over again. It puts me off. I'd leave.
I mean, Becca says in the chat there that her community is toxic Swift Rage spamming alpha male gamers. I mean, there you go. You know, so she's bred that specific community. You know, maybe that does it for Becca. You know, that's what she enjoys. Yeah. She enjoys that.
But if you're going to be sitting there going, I'm an alpha male, there's a good chance that you're a beta. Just saying.
I think sometimes it's funny. Like sometimes. I don't know. There will be one paragraph that's like, I'm from high school. Do you remember this girl that you were with? It's like some generic paragraph, and you read it, and you're like, oh, this is funny. Copy paste, just once or twice, and then it dies down and it goes back to normal conversation. But yeah, I think in moderation they can be cute, a little bit quirky, and they get a little chuckle. But if it's I don't know, me orc, me spam, no mod, no ban kind of thing. Like, no, thank you.
That's amazing. I mean,
Awesome.
Dana, you live in the just chatting world, so I mean, as a community there, that's known to be pretty trolly and a little bit toxic at times, but also very viewer dependent. What have you experienced in your time sitting in those type of things? Has it been a positive experience, or have you needed a lot of mods to get in there and swing some ban hammers?
So I overall, I think it's been a positive experience. However, I do remember in the beginning, I did get a really big host from V once when I only had about 300 followers. So at that point, I hadn't built a community yet. So there were a ton of trolls that had come in, and it was just very overwhelming, and I didn't know what to do. And I actually had to take a week off of streaming after that because it was so demotivating and demoralizing in a way. You kind of feel like a caged animal. But now I thought to myself, it's better to build up your community first before you kind of chase after growing it, because without having like your foundation, you don't have people there, when it's you talk to one person but then the rest is all trolls. Like, get out of just chat. Does that make sense? I don't know, my
No,
thoughts are kind of
100%.
all over the
Oh
place.
yeah.
100%. I mean, I think most of the guys in here, we all mod in each other's chats most of the time anyway. I mean, Swatty, Potsie swings the ban hammer around in mine, quite often, and because I do a lot of Jackbox type of stuff, and that breeds trolls. I mean, they just see Jackbox on the thing, and they just come in looking for trouble. You know what I mean? They just see it and know that they're going to be drawing some stuff or saying some controversial shit, and he swings the ban hammer quite virulently in the chat, and it just has to be like that. But for the rest of the time, the guys that are in there, the regulars, they actually. It's quite cool because the community of the guys, like for example last night, there's some people come in try to throw some bullshit in there, and the regular players actually step in and take over, and they start giving the trolls shit back themselves. You know what I mean? That's cool. That's when you're building up a good solid community of people that are there, and it's not white knighting. I mean, it's just you're in their house, and they're trying to play a game. Some guys coming in there trying to be an idiot, and they're just taking care of him and moving him away. The people don't need that type of toxicity in what they're trying to do when they're trying to play a game. So the community, because they built themselves up to a nice stable place, remove them from their environment, which is the way to go.
It's just like being in a group of friends in real life. If you have an asshole coming up to your group of friends at the bar, you're not going to say, "Ooh, I'm not a white knight. I'm not protecting my friends."
Exactly.
No, you're going to kick his ass.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
Send in the mega.
Send in the mega. He's going to take them out. Potsie, you've been hanging out in the World of Warcraft community for quite a while. And we were chatting about this with Abby-Star as well. What have you experienced community-wise with them? From what we've seen, she doesn't get many trolls in hers. And we were talking about, is it possibly because the World of Warcraft community, because the game is 15 years old, a lot of the players are a lot more older, more mature people, and the community is the same. People that are wanting to watch that type of content are generally people that have been playing it for a long time. So you are looking at it, not your 14-year-olds, your 13-year-olds that have never heard of it. They're too busy, jamming in the Fortnites and the Apex Legends and that type of thing, spamming it up in there. So you tend to get less trolls. Have you found that in your community at all?
Well, my community is still in its infancy. I've been at it for 5 weeks, maybe now, 6 weeks, something like that. So I think I've only thrown out 2 bans, and that's because I don't know who they were. They just came in, and I didn't like what they were. I didn't like their names to start with.
I don't even like your name.
Yeah, so that was like number one, and I don't have any dramas. Like the community that I've got that come in, they span from many different communities that I know of. Like it's great. I love it. As for the age of World of Warcraft, yeah, there probably are a lot of older players that are cruising around looking for people that are playing it, maybe seeing what their gameplay is like, somewhere just to park their ass and maybe even have a chat with the streamer, which is good. But as I was saying, for the age, I still find that it's going to be a broad range. We've got Doc Bucklove, Bucklove, Buglove.
Doc Bucklove.
Yeah.
He's really into deer.
He he's an older guy, but he's a WoW player as well. I mean, he's quite old. And then we've got people on the other end of the scale that I know they're quite quite young. So
I
I don't
wonder
have
if
any.
because most of the channels of WoW that I've watched are higher end content.
True.
So
Yeah.
it's mostly cooperative gameplay, and I think you probably draw a different audience that want to come watch people cooperate with each other rather than watching something directly competitive.
True.
There's
Yeah.
not so much ego involved.
Yeah, you're right. It's because I mean most of the people we watch don't stream PvP where it's it's active, as you say, competitive, taking people out. It's more of the raiding and the PvE content where it is, as you say, cooperative gameplay. So that does lend itself to a community and a helpfulness in the core gameplay. As
But
well.
I think any community comes down to what standards you set very, very on in your channel.
Agreed.
Like Dory, we kick the bloody TOS bucket every week with Jackbox with you.
True.
And
You live
as
on
you
the edge
say,
there.
I deal with the trolls pretty quickly. Like I got a short fuse when it comes to them. It's just it happens. You want to come in here and draw a dick? I'll draw a bigger one.
By the way, Potsy, I don't know if you'd like to follow maybe a little bit later.
You can just fuck right off.
For the people that don't know, Potsy had a meltdown in the stream the other day. It was so good. Some guy rando pulled in and did the classic. I mean, Danny, you must have seen it a few times. Someone rolling through the chat and just goes, "Hey man, follow for follow," and like the standard waste of time. And Potsy just, because you see him playing WoW, he's doing it, and he just turns and stops and stares at the chat and he just goes, "Fuck off, mate! What the fuck?" And he just lost it for a little bit. 52 minutes of him going off at this guy about follow for follow. So of course, what do we do as Discord boys? We gathered everybody we knew that was online at the time, and got them to every 10-15 minutes to jump into his chat and go, "Hey Potsy, follow for follow. Hey Potsy, follow for follow."
I'll have to do that next time you stream.
Absolutely.
As well.
There we go.
Robert went in and said, "Hey, somebody just DM'd me about follow for follow. Isn't that a pain in the butt?" And he went off again for 20 minutes.
It was another 20 minutes. It was so good. It was so good. Everybody put a follow for follows for Potsy in the chat. At Potsy with that.
And
it was
unfollowing Dory.
Oh, yeah. Relax.
Leaving the podcast.
Too funny. Too funny.
Man, fuck this, I've had enough.
There he's gone. He's bailed out and as we've lost the Australian. Too funny though. There you go.
There it is.
I love it. Yeah, it was funny. I thought it was a good time. So let's check. Shroud did get something good this week. He received a plaque for his accomplishments from Stream Elements, which was quite cool. I didn't know they did this, but apparently he's been doing so well using their software. They actually sent him a plaque about all his accomplishments, which is effectively as a rundown of his Twitch achievements, which is pretty cool to see on an actual physical trophy. Cool. How are you guys doing on those achievements? Do you actually like pay any attention to those things? Are those actual goals for you as a streamer to try and hit those things? Do you think some of them are realistic? Do you think they set a huge goalpost for you? Jimbo, I mean, you've been growing relatively fast in the Twitch Sings community.
Oh yeah.
With everything that's been going on. How are your achievements looking? Have you got any particular ones in mind that you're trying to hit, or any that you've been struggling with?
No, because I don't have it open because I stream straightly from the Twitch Sings app. I don't really see them, so
that's phenomenal. I'm just looking there, 100 million views. I mean,
that's insane.
I mean, could you imagine Jimbo getting 100 million views for just like being Twitch?
It's coming, bro. It's coming.
It probably won't be till at least August.
Yeah, we won't
host for Shroud.
Post TwitchCon, once Jimbo gets on the stage and starts crooning.
If you look at the top there, like Shroud joined November 3rd, 2012. Like the man's been at it for nearly 7 years, so
it's a big grind.
It is a big grind. I mean, congrats to where he's gotten. And like I go and watch him. I do like his gameplay. I like his interactions that he has with the people that he play with, and even from time to time he does stop and recognize chat and jumps in there and says hello. I mean, if you watch though, like there's da-ding donation, da-ding sub, and like he's
It's
is
just
a
never
machine.
ending.
I like
It's
the last
never
one though. I like the
so-
last one. March 11 nerfed Shroud.
Yes, that's because he fell on
That's
his
because
back. That's brilliant.
That's
I
funny.
actually didn't notice that until now. But that's great. Yeah, they did say that he
That's
was
for the
nerfed.
achievements. Like, yeah, that some of them that I see in my creator channel, like they are things to aim for. Like it's not a driving force, but it's nice to like go towards there. It's like knocking out achievements that I've been doing on World of Warcraft because I have been playing it off stream. Like I did my first mythic dungeon with Dory the other day. He dragged me
Ooh.
through one.
I believe the word is carried.
No, dragged. I was dragged.
Probably dragged, yes.
Leech.
Yeah, probably dragged,
right.
but not a bad
I
way.
was dragged there because I went in as a healer and we got to one boss. Like we shouldn't have been in that dungeon to begin with.
No, you shouldn't. We were boosting him. It was funny though.
Oh, it was hard.
Carried in a
A
pram to take him
boosted
none.
leech.
Yeah,
Boosted
leech.
That's it. That's it. We were
The
trying to get him
worst
some gear.
combination.
I know, right?
Boost for boost.
Boost for boost. Yeah, beep for beep. Oh shit! It was funny though. It was good.
But
Dan-
yeah, that's what I've been aiming for in mind is to like play with my friends and do all sorts of stuff. And as for achievements, yeah, they are like trying to kick goals. I'm going for them. Knocked a few out, but
I don't actually try to achieve them, but it is kind of cool to see them when you hit them. When you
Yeah.
go back and check your stream stats later, and you have a whole bunch of things up at the top. Oh, you got 20 people talking at the same time, and
Yeah,
you
that's
streamed
true.
500 hours, and it's just kind of fun.
For you guys, which is the one that is A, means the most for you to get, and B, which is the hardest one that you guys are struggling to get?
Partner, 75
good.
viewers.
Yeah.
Tell me
Yeah.
about it. The garage
a
is
big number.
real.
Yeah.
well, it
I'm-
wasn't
I'm
long
a-
ago that I only had 75 followers, so 75 viewers is a long way off.
The consistent over a set period of time follower partner thing is the heavy one, because I mean you can
And
hit
hosts and raids don't
they
count.
don't count. That's right, exactly.
No.
So I mean you can get up to that to close or even over that level, but you've got to hold those numbers for a long time over a meridian of streams before you can even be considered. And that average,
Mhm.
especially if you stream a lot, it's difficult once you start adding in more and more and more, and it's divided by more and more numbers. It's a real hard one to get. What do you guys think about the attachment to VIP badges to some of the achievements, especially the chatting ones? Because I've noticed that a lot of them are you get more VIP badges assigned on how many people you get chatting in the chat. Do you think that they should be putting things like that against achievements so that you have to unlock it that way, or should everybody be given a set amount and just that's the way you deal with it?
I don't know. I feel like, am I the only one who doesn't really care about the VIP badges that much? I feel very special when I'm a VIP in a chat, but I forget about VIPing people in my own chat, you know? I just haven't really thought about it. I looked the other day and I had 26 out of 50 slots. How many people am I going to VIP?
That would be the
It's for
vast
when you-
majority of my viewership.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, everybody gets a VIP.
It is-
VIP's for everyone.
Right.
You get a
It's
VIP.
for
You get a VIP.
when you're growing along. Yeah, I think you shouldn't just get them all at once because otherwise you're just going to get a big lump. Because I think
Yeah.
what's there a limit of 100 or 200 VIPs.
At
I mean,
the
imagine
upper
giving
end,
that
yeah.
as an affiliate. Just there you go. That way, as you're starting, everyone is a VIP. I mean, yeah, recognize your long-term followers and your main supporters. Give them the badge, but unlock it as you go. Starting off with 10 once you hit your first achievement, which is relatively easy. Yeah,
Mhm.
great. You can hand it out to your OGs and grow from there. I think I've got 25 available to me at the moment, and I've only used X amount of them myself. So I think they should be. They are harder as you go along. I don't think that's the point. It's a long term thing and a source of recognition. So yeah,
Well,
some
I
people
mean-
strive to get it, and they come into chat asking for it. They're like,
That's
I don't know
true,
you.
yeah.
You're not even a follower and you want a VIP?
Yeah,
Go away.
I've seen you once.
You're
You've been here for 5
very
minutes.
interesting
Relax.
person. You get a VIP for very interesting person. I don't know who the fuck you are.
Oh, you've sent 3 messages. You want to be a mod? No worries.
No worries, dude. Take control. Let me just make you editor of the channel. Done.
A great candidate.
100%.
Why don't you become admin in the Discord as well?
There we go.
I feel like I could trust you.
Admin
Here's
in
my
a
bank
Discord, man. It's
numbers.
a coveted
Yeah,
position.
right?
So many people ask for that admin control because
Here's my Amazon password. Enjoy.
Here's my bank codes.
You know, I
all
was
that
looking for a personal assistant. I'm so glad you came into my chat 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah. So when we're talking about
there are some large ones in here, like reach 10 million hours watch total in your channel. It's
Oh
like,
my goodness.
the thing is that comes
Wow.
quicker than you think for the big streamers. I mean, because when you've got like what 50,000 people watching you, each of those person counts as 1 hour if they watch you for an
Yeah.
hour. So it's not just having streamed for X amount of time. You get a large amount of people watching you for 5 hours. You're timesing it out. The multiplying that number. I almost use that word. Out it becomes not too difficult for once you reach those upper numbers. But when you're sitting down, in the affiliate ranges here, and you see, 100 million hours, it's almost demotivating because you're like, that's crazy. I mean, I can't even concept that number.
Especially when it shows you like you have 12 hours
Yeah,
out of 100
you're
million
almost
watch
there,
hours.
buddy.
Yeah.
12 out of 100 million. Keep it up.
Push it.
but as you said, it's quite easy once you get there. That's a long road. How many channels do you know that have gone from nothing to 50,000 viewers in a month, 6 months, a year?
No one.
Yeah, I don't know
Many.
anyone.
Um,
No
but
There's
idea.
people that
Although-
skyrocket. They
You do
get
get
some,
to
yeah.
what 50,000 and peak, and then just kind of hover there for a really long time and grow really slowly after.
Mhm. I do think
But
it's
it
kind
is-
of cool. I have a single dot of color in my reach. 1 million hours watched. So that it even registers in 1 million is
You
kind of
got
cool.
it. You got it. There's a little piece. Little piece. Just keep going. So let's
Almost there.
let's look at someone that's
I've
achieved
got-
some of the bigger
I've got
ones.
a pixel in 250,000 hours, so I've got some shit to do.
Just 1 pixel is what it takes. You're a part of the.
Just
you're
1
part of it.
pixel.
Yeah.
You're on the road, Potts. You're on the road. Looking at someone who's done at the other end and achieving some of the biggest milestones. Pokemon delivered a heartfelt message to the fans, finally reaching her Twitch milestone. You guys saw that? Pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
She crossed the 3 million followers mark on Twitch after 5 years of streaming on the platform. So that is a shitload. I mean, she is 3.4 million YouTube
number
subscribers,
13.
and she's finally hit 3 million followers on Twitch. That is a huge following. And it's quite interesting though. Mega, we often talk about the metrics and stuff of streamers and stuff like that. Sitting at 3 million followers, her average viewer count around about 10K. I've seen her sit around about 10K most of the time. That's not a huge, it's quite interesting that you can have that many followers and you still sit around the 10K mark. From a numbers point of view, it's interesting when you look at stats from that perspective, because 3 million followers is insane. That's a lot of people that have clicked on it and have you in their little sidebar. But how effective and for you guys, how effective is your followers in your average viewer count? Do you tend to get more views from people that are consistently following you? Do you get a lot from the browse page? Do you get a lot of people from different sources, outside sources, like popping things into Discords? Where do you guys tend to see the biggest growth or input to your stream? Is it purely from followers, or do you get it from other places?
Definitely, like 50% for me is from Twitch for my regulars, and then I'll like all my live views and things like that. I come from the discovery page. It's about 10%, and the rest is all from outside sources, which is Discord, Twitter, IG, and shit like that. I get more hits on my Twitter than I do with my actual Twitch channel. Like people see that, but if I can get one in every, I think it's 10 or 12 at the moment that come through from that, and have a look at my channel, it's another live view, and it all counts and adds up, and you can see your growth curve going, and it is a long, arduous grind. and that's that.
Apparently, she's
Like you need to grow all your platforms, and then you go from there. I mean, what does she have? 3.5 million followers on YouTube as well. So
Yeah.
what's her Twitter and
Instagram,
IG
too.
and Reddit and everything else like? It'd be insane.
She's also the
Combined numbers.
13th person to reach the milestone.
And the first female, I think.
The first female, yeah. She's bested the likes of Tyler One, Lyric, and Soda Pop to the 3 million mark. It's interesting. It's really well done. So congrats to her for getting those followers up there.
Yeah, that's huge.
And
as most watched English Just Chatting channel, 107th most watched English channel period. 6th most watched Just Chatting channel, and 181st most watched overall.
Big numbers.
So,
big numbers.
Big numbers. Big numbers.
Yeah, so she had a pretty good one. There was an interesting one. Sorry, I'm bouncing around a little bit here. The articles around. Yeah, it's like I said. Do you guys get more? Potts, you were the only one that answered that. Did the rest of you? For example, Dana, do you find you pull a lot of interest into your stream from outside sources, or was it purely based on your followers that you're seeing the same people all the time, or do you get a lot of new people flowing through your chat quite often? And does the social media posting actually help you out most of the time?
To be honest, I've been very bad actually. I don't post on social media at all whenever I go live. So it's mainly been just announcing it on Discord and having my followers come in. For me, it's kind of 50-50. I have a lot of regulars, a lot of people who are following, and a lot of random new people as well. I think usually I get around 200 or 300 new chatters in each stream, which is I
really
never
good.
have that many viewers, so it's interesting to see like a lot of people come in and say hi and leave. But
yeah,
Drive by viewers.
I mean, we see them though. Like, you're doing things right. Even if they don't say, you're doing your advertising right for your channel to reach out and find more viewers. When you've got those numbers and you can see them coming in, it's like, yeah, my average viewer count might be 15, and then you look on the other end of the scale, it's like, wow, I had 200 live views. So like people coming through and
unique views,
out.
yeah.
Drive-by viewers as
it's something, right? Because they could always come back and they could always say, hey, like to their friends or to their Discord communities. Like, I saw someone on Just Chatting last week and they're really cool. You guys should check them out. And then you eventually grow more that way. I think it's definitely difficult whenever you're not a full-time streamer or not a streamer who streams many hours in the day, because, maybe you get a certain amount of followers in the 3 or 4 hour period that you stream on Monday. But then they realize you don't stream every day and they could unfollow or you might never see them again. I think the consistency also helps a lot.
Yeah, definitely, especially especially when you're doing a variety of things or you specializing in something. It also plays a part as to whether people know, oh, okay, Mondays I'm going to pull in and see this. Tuesdays I don't know what I'm going to see. Wednesdays I don't know if they stream. Thursdays it's going to be this. That can vary. Some people like the variance. Other people know every Thursday night we're going over to Flirtini because we're going to have the best, this Just Chatting session going on. You can have 4 hours of this type of chat, and that's what they plan for. I mean, we've talked about it before, getting part of other people's routines being one of the best ways to have that consistent viewership, and sticking to a set schedule does help a lot of the time for that type of thing.
Well, we're trying to set it out so that we, as a group, can do an extra night a week where we all jump in and play some form of game together, even if it's like a Wednesday night where we go and play GTA, or we go and play Pummel Party, or we go and do something. So it's an extra time for each of us, not just for ourselves, but for each other, just to actually sit down and have a game for once. We watch each other's stream. Very rarely do we all game together, though. And,
very true, yeah.
Good bonding experience as well.
And then like slaughtering each other in the
unless
game.
Story
bring each other
backhands
together.
you in the game, then it's
oh,
not
that
very
was funny though.
Backhanding runs you over
Bertie.
with his boat.
There we go. Yes, that's a fantastic idea. Fantastic idea. Phoenix brings up a good point too in the chat there. He said it also just depends on the streamer finding the right time for their content to reach the people that want that specific thing.
That's true.
You may be the
Very
best, just chatting person, but if you're going on between 3 and 5 in the morning, you're not going to have much success in your streaming life, depending on which audience you hit. And of course, time zones play a big part in it. I mean, you guys must know when you're crossing over the different points in the time zones, you're catching the late night UK viewers, you swap into the mid-evening, mid-afternoon American viewers. You got the early morning Australian viewers. I mean, there's different people that are gonna watch your content based on the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
it's
I
hard.
noticed when I did last Sunday stream right before this podcast, it was 10 p.m. my time, and then all of the on a Sunday, so all of the EU streamers started stopping their stream. So I think I got 3 raids or something in a very short amount of time. So then, damn it, I don't want to stop. But I need to go to this one.
But that's also very true. Like if you plan ahead, you could, and you've got a bunch of people that know that you're about, and all of them finishing up, you're gonna catch all the overflow from them. It's not a bad plan, to be honest. If you've got that type of network out there to stream at a time just slightly off from everybody else and get those raids in to bring more people into your community. It's an interesting thought. I never thought about it. But
And
yeah.
the thing is, though, a lot of people they've sat down, they've watched their viewer for 3 to 4 hours. People are going to go, I've had enough of this. I've been on Twitch for a while, and they're gone. But there are some people that literally wake up, sit on Twitch for 12 to 16 hours a day, and bounce around everywhere.
Yeah. You figure out where he is. Yeah, he's. I mean, that's it too. I mean, it's some people watch all day. Other people only have specific time slots. So it does make a bit of a difference as to when you're streaming specific content. And yes, Becca, I turned off the yes cannons. Otherwise, I'd be sitting doing this the entire podcast.
Oh, it could be interesting.
It could be a fun one. Pretty noisy though. Very noisy. All right, let's move into the next story that we were looking at. And it's something that we've seen almost kind of a reversal. We've seen a lot of IRL streamers get into situations which were uncomfortable. And this was quite an interesting one that happened to Andy Menalakis this week. He was out doing an IRL stream. I think it was out in was it Thailand? I think it was somewhere over there. And he was out with Jake and Bake, I think it was. Yeah, they were out and it was in Shanghai. Yeah, they were out in Shanghai, and they were cruising around, and it was quite interesting. They the usual street vendors and stuff came up and started asking him questions and things like that, and doing a little begging on the side. And he slipped the one some cash. Who instantly Jake Bake was like, "No, what are you doing, mate?" The vendor turned around and started saying, "Hey, we're getting some cash in from this guy," and brought a friend in, and then he gave her some more cash. Eventually, they went into the store and everything with them. And he started buying them food, at which point the floodgates opened, and about 5 of them all started coming in, and he ended up buying a whole bunch of people food and everything like that, which was he was cool with it. I mean, he got $100 donation while it was going on. Someone saying buy them some food, do that type of thing. But it's an interesting one where this type of thing can happen to an IRL streamer where you get into a situation that you're not quite sure how to handle. What do you think? As streamers, I don't know if you guys have done any IRL content or if you've been doing it. How would you handle a situation that's getting out of hand? Would you try and make the best of it and do what you can and keep the stream going, or would you just be like, "Hey guys, I'm cutting the stream and bail out and try and either get yourself out of the situation and come back, or would you just do it for the content?"
I think that's a sticky situation to be in. I think it depends. If you really feel stuck, I think it's just best to maybe put your phone down for a second, mute the stream, get out of it, and then say like, all right guys, like I'm sorry I had to 10 minutes, I just had to get out of that situation. Doing it for the content, it's hard because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what those people will do. You don't know what they will say, and if they end up attacking you or doing something bad on stream against TOS, then it's your account, it's your reputation that's on the line there, not theirs. No one knows who they are.
100%. Yeah. Are you betting? Oh, okay. You jumping out?
Yeah, and really, I'm not so thirsty to chase content that I'm going to put my own personal safety at risk.
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
You have to think of like yourself. Put yourself first. You know, you were being generous in that situation. Poor Andy. You know, trying to be generous, trying to do a good thing, and then it backfiring. Like you just put the stream down, get
Yeah.
yourself out of it, and then pop it back up. 15 minutes, people will understand. You don't have to
Agreed.
have it.
Absolutely.
That's probably the best way to go about it. It was an interesting situation for him to be in, and you could see. I think Jimbojp was more in shock than Andy was. Andy was playing it pretty cool. He was just like, "Nah, it's cool, just cool. Carry on, carry on. I got a dono. It's fine. Let them go, let them go." Jimbojp, you could see his eyes going. You could just see the madness coming in, and starting to
But
take.
Andy's
take
also
over.
got a background in being in out of control situations too. That's how he
True,
came up.
true. He's more comfortable.
So he's much more comfortable with it, no doubt.
100%, yeah. All right, cool. It was just an interesting story that happened to him this week. So let's turn our attention over to what we usually check out at least once during the show is the top 10 Twitch channels for the week. I think previous week that they've released at the moment. We're looking at the numbers changing around again. We've got League of Legends sitting at the top with 18.5 million going on, followed by Fortnite back in the saddle, second place, 17.9 million. Grand Theft Auto 5 sitting up at 14.1, another fantastic performance for a game from 2013. Just Chatting sitting up at 13.8. Flirtini's section doing very well there. And up in fourth
My
place.
kids.
I saw them calling his stream mom today. That was quite funny. Good Mother's Day comments from them. Dota 2 sitting in there at 6.6 million, followed by Counter-Strike Global Offensive 6.2, Overwatch 6.2, World of Warcraft still sitting up there at 4.8, and PUBG falling below it at 4.6, and Hearthstone at 4.5. What was interesting about this week was the fact that, and the reason that WoW was still up there is because the new raid that the guys have been doing was actually harder than people thought it was going to be. It was a 2-boss raid, and because it was going on for a hell of a lot longer as a race, it stayed up there and almost doubled their amount of hours that WoW gets for the week. So very cool to see WoW still doing its thing. Go Raider boys for the Horde, that type of thing.
I was Horde as well.
Yes, yes, 1,000 internet points for Flirtini. She wins again, once again for the Horde.
You just made a friend for life.
That's it, for the Horde for life. That's how we do it. Team Red, Team Blue can go jump. We don't care about this.
Agreed.
Cool. Alrighty, so that covers pretty much most of what we got on.
Could
Twitch.
Fortnite be? Was it the new season that came out?
Yes, the new season did come out. That's probably why it's sitting up at number two, 100%. I mean, does anybody see Apex Legends on that list? I don't.
No.
The fall from grace is real.
I see, Barbie Magic Pegasus. You see that one up there?
Nice.
It's probably above Apex Legends, let me tell you. It's definitely above Anthem. That game's dead in the water.
Should I play that next?
Yes, I think we should. Get some yeses in the chat if that's the Mega's next game. Let's check that out. That should pretty much cover this week in Twitch so far. From everything, Dan gives it a nope. So let's move ourselves over. There it is. There's the nope mug. Everybody loves that one. Let's move it over into the theme based on what our guest is involved in, and have a look at this week's guest topics. So Flirtini, you chose environmental type of subjects to discuss as your guest topic this week. This is, I'm guessing, is based off of what you do with your master's degree and things like that. Is that where your area of interest lies?
Yes. So actually, a topic that I was going to pick for my dissertation was going to be the financial issues of sustainability in the construction environment. Are we not becoming more sustainable because of these financial factors? And if it's more financially reasonable in the long run, why don't we put that little bit of money into it now to prevent from having to keep, maintaining it? You pay for something that's cheaper, you build up an apartment complex super quickly, and then in 2 or 3 years you have to put just as much money into it, fixing everything.
We want stuff that is so immediate and cheap and bottom dollar these days that it's like whatever's cheaper is better, and it's like I don't know where this mentality come from.
It's the disposable society, mate. It's cheaper disposable society.
Yeah, but a building and stuff like that shouldn't be disposable.
It's because
we
the
do.
contractors and the investors, they invest in it for that initial building. They get the money out of it. The people move in right away. They take the money and they're out. They don't
Yeah.
care about the long-term investment. So if the building
Right.
No.
gets a mold issue, those like investors from the beginning, they don't have anything to do with it. So it's the people suffering inside the building. They start developing health issues, and then it's the current complex that owns this building that suffers the legal repercussions from these from the builders essentially.
Yeah, and from a larger standpoint, the lost productivity from all the sick people in the building,
Yeah.
which is a drag on the economy, and healthcare costs rise.
People
The thing is,
moving
though,
out.
it's like we've had this. Sorry, we've had this in Australia for ages. Our biggest one has been roads. Like our roads here, like fall apart so quick, and then they go out, spend millions or billions of dollars putting this new bloody super infrastructure in, and then they have to repair it. It's like, why can't you just spend that fraction more, do it better, and then in the long term, like it can be just so much just beneficial, cheaper. Long
Exactly.
term is cheaper, but they want the immediate turnaround, and I think it's going to have to take something pretty drastic in modern society for people to go, yes, we need to see it. We need to start doing it this way because we are becoming so disposable, and the amount of landfill. I read this study. The amount of landfill that we're pumping into the land now is actually lowering our water table because everything that gets put into landfill that requires water is not going back into the water table again, and we're losing out. There's so many things that we can do to make things sustainable and better, and we just don't do it because of dollars.
Exactly. And the carbon
People got
footprint as
away.
well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if we get away from what's the dollar value of everything, we'd be better off as a species. Like we don't have much longer on this earth at the rate we're going before we are fucked. Not in my generation, probably not in the next 10 generations, but after that,
When the world
game
starts
over.
to
Enjoy constant world wars, and because resources will be so limited.
Dirty air, awful resources, no good resources left. You have these billionaires who don't care. They invest into a project, they get their money out of it initially, they make more, they put in a little bit of money but make a lot of it back, and then that's it. They don't care about the carbon footprint, they don't care about the environment at all because it doesn't affect them or hasn't affected them yet.
100%. And in fact, one of the articles that I found about it was exactly that. The headline of the article caught my eye. It was Silicon Valley doesn't give a damn about Earth's imminent demise. So there it is, proven right in the article itself that opinion is 100% correct. They were blatantly saying that it's not they're not even focusing on it in any way. It's not something that concerns them
more focused
at all.
on building civilizations on other planets than
exactly. They would rather just dispose of the Earth and move on to the next planet. And I think that kind of mentality is dangerous.
Wasn't that kind of the plot of Independence Day?
You know what I'm saying, mate?
It doesn't work.
We're gonna move.
That philosophy doesn't work. I mean, we spend more money every year on devising ways to kill each other than we do in healthcare or sustainability or anything else to even repair the damage we're actually doing to our own planet. We're a small rock in a fucking great big universe, and until we actually start putting more time and more effort into funding faster than light transport, you got to start looking in your backyard. You can't keep throwing your rubbish out in the backyard and expecting to live there. It's just, it's not going to happen. I mean, I'm actually excited. I was reading an article a few months ago where they are working on our first ever warp engine, and they'll be testing it in the next few years. The possibilities of going out and seeing other parts of just our own galaxy, that's awesome. We might find another home world, but the problem is
hell of a gamble to put everything on a lifeboat.
Yeah, that's what they're thinking. Oh, we can just consume this planet because we've only got a couple of billion years left before we can't live here anymore because of the
The sun,
expansion
yeah.
of the sun before it starts consuming our planet. And people are thinking climate change is here. We don't really know what climate change is. We've only been studying and following and recording.
Half the people don't even
planets.
believe in climate change. You've got to convince society that the problem even exists. Some people have their heads so far in the sand they don't even know what the fuck's going on around it. You know what I mean?
It exists to a point.
They bury their heads in their sand, though, you know, and you can see shit is changing. I mean, you can look at the temperatures and stuff that are going on right now. I mean, we've got snow happening in what's typically the summer months. Like, what the fuck is going on? There's definitely something afoot. There's definitely something afoot.
Oh, glaciers are melting here, and then they come back with the argument, but it's pretty cold somewhere else, so obviously it's not too hot, right?
Yeah, the amount of energy it takes to move that much Arctic or Antarctic air to somewhere it doesn't belong is astronomical. And that is actually the extra heat is doing mechanical work to move those air masses.
And a lot of people get caught up in the old naming convention and throw away the topic based on misinformation. They'll be like, oh, and I've had someone comment this back to me because I was like talking about it and I said, oh, you know, global warming, and they were like, oh, what do you mean global warming? It's colder than ever. What a bullshit story.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, the weather versus climate issue.
Wait, mate, that's not what we're talking about here. You can't fucking say that it doesn't exist because it's cold. You know what I mean? There's other factors at play here. You can't just throw away the entire topic because of the semantics of one of the words in what it's called. It doesn't make any sense. But society was just so easy to throw things away. And do you guys think it's because there's so much fake news and shit generated out there that we have to filter through our heads that this falls, unfortunately, because most people are misinformed on it, they just don't believe it.
Not only that, though, because I know there's probably a lot of people that totally believes in it, but then they are gonna like they're not gonna stop driving their car, make it harder for them because they're gonna look at themselves and like, if I just stop driving my car to work and maybe, I don't know, invest a lot of money to buy an electric car or using my bike or something, it's not gonna do any change in the big picture.
Well, see,
I'm just gonna continue using my car.
Yeah, unless you're
and then look to everyone else too.
Unless you're saying push bike, like a motorbike is far more toxic to the environment than a car. But yeah, we can't just say, oh, everyone stop driving your cars because the planet will stop working. We still need to transport things. We still need to get from point A to point B. I mean, there's people that travel great distances every day just for a job.
Yeah, I go 60 miles each way every day.
Yeah, so that's at least 2.5 hours driving.
You ain't gonna be jogging it, mate.
And it's gonna take a lot of things for people to make their everyday life harder to make a small difference for the environment. People are not going to do that.
120
people are not going to do that.
In an hour.
No, it's 60 miles each way.
Well, it's like using the logic that my vote doesn't count, so I'm not going to vote. Like, what is one person's vote going to matter?
Yeah, it's unfortunate the lack of cohesion. That's where everyone's lack of personal responsibility falls into play. Everyone goes, oh, I can't do anything anyway, so I'm not going to do anything. Then nobody does anything, and we end up in a circling the drain, you know. And it's an unfortunate human mindset, psychological wise, that everyone goes, well, you know, I'm not to blame. You can't just blame me. Everyone's doing it. You know, that groupthink is an unfortunate way that we tend to think about stuff, especially when it comes to something that we're talking about in future time. It's not directly affecting you as a person right now in a way that's causing you imminent danger. You're like, it's fine. I don't give a shit. It's not going to personally affect me.
I still think we need more data into saying that, yes, we are accelerating or decelerating or even causing climate change. Because, if you keep doing this, we're going to end up in an ice age. There's been multiple times this planet has fell into an ice age, and the last one was 10,000 years ago.
But do a pro-con assessment.
We're due for one.
You know what I mean? If it costs you 2% more to hedge against the fact that it's real, why would you not spend it if the alternative is catastrophe? Even if
look-
it's not real, you spend 2%.
Hit them,
Oh, look,
Potsy.
it's a fuckwit.
It's a fuckwit. There they go. Bye. Let's get some boom headshots in the chat there for the fuckwit that just got hit in the face. Yeah, carrying
There
on.
it is.
Um,
You know what I mean? Even if it isn't real, why would you not want to live in a space that's nicer for a little
Exactly.
bit more?
exactly.
Yeah, because I think
What
I
did you
heard
lose?
I'm just gonna.
like some example of no, it was like the thing in the fridges and stuff that was really bad for the ozone layers.
Freon or
Freon.
ozone?
Nice,
Freon.
Yeah, and then when they like
chlorofluorocarbons, yeah. We
and
stopped
like
using those.
and like things like that, like when they like banned them on a like global level, that actually they saw improvements in the ozone layer after they banned them. So like stuff like that, like
Well, the hole that it actually created is repaired. So you know we can see things in a couple of lifetimes that we've done that have altered the environment. But you know what? There's going to be things that fluctuate in the environment where it's going to make things colder, going to make things hotter. The planet shifts around, and you know what? As the planet shifts around, stuff changes with it. Like ocean currents, for example, we've done so much with studying and that we can say, all right, if we have so much fresh water pumped into the ocean from global warming and the melting of the ice caps, that there is going to be a change in it, because you can get to a certain point of desalination where it changes the way that the ocean reacts to it. Wildlife moves away from it as well. Like there is so much that changes and so much that goes on that we can't really pinpoint exactly what one thing is going to be triggering off what we are experiencing at the moment,
Right.
or if
But we can-
stuff is just getting blown way out of proportion.
We can
So-
actively limit our impact, though.
Yes, we can, and we should. But that comes down to
and I think like at least I don't know exact number, but I guess around maybe 90% of all the scientists agree that the humans are affecting the environment, and maybe 10% are not,
We are.
and then 10% are not, and then
Like-
some people choose to believe that the 10% and say no, it's not real.
But I think
But
the
it's-
problem is that people just don't care because it's not affecting them right now. So they, for example, they see endangered species like, oh, this animal is going extinct, so we have to act on it right now. But if nothing is going to happen for another 1 or 2 billion years, no one really cares. No one wants to make a change. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we'll just make changes later on. Right now, it's not that big of a deal. Or I won't be around in the future anyway, so why should I make a change?
Yeah,
well,
that's
it's true. I won't be here to see the end of the world, and well, thank fuck for that. But that's the sort of mentality.
But
That's the mentality that's
therein
being
lies the-
carried
in the
over.
sky.
and-
That's the
Oh,
problem.
yeah.
And I don't want to be here for that, and unfortunately, people are going to be here to see it. I mean, but you know,
Who knows? though?
literally, we are breeding faster than we can like replenish our resources or do anything. We're consuming more and more of the planet every year, and it's going to be to the point that you can only take and put so much shit back in before the planet just goes, no, I've had enough of this.
The scary
we
part
can't
is
keep-
it's starting to become profitable to mine landfills for precious metals. It's
Well, that's
getting
when
to
you
the
know
point where it's easier to get precious metals out of trash than it is to get it out of the earth now. That's crazy.
That is, that's a hideous statement.
I've seen that where electronic landmines, or not landmines, fucking hell, landfill.
Wow.
is,
Totally different, yeah.
well, we can
Those
send
electronic
the
landmines are blowing
lines
up.
to the landmines and get them to fix that problem. But yeah, the landfill, like you can, with simple, cheap chemicals, especially over in India, like they just melt down all the boards and that come out of your phones, scoop all the gold out, and then just get rid of, we can't use this acid or anything anymore. So they just tip it out, but that goes back into all other sorts of problems, and then they just take the gold, cash it in, and then start the process over again, and it's not good.
Sexton makes an
fair
interesting
enough.
point in the chat, saying that Sweden, for example, is making a great effort to make the climate change and have less effect but it doesn't matter if we have massive countries like China, India, and Russia that don't give a shit. You know,
And
and
US.
that
Well, that's the thing.
that's the mindset that most people are rubbing up against. And I mean, Dana, how do you combat a mindset like that where you've got a group of people that are, yes, we're all happy to make the change, but they're seeing the vast majority still not giving a shit? How do you motivate someone like that to keep going? I mean, and take out the trash with the recycle bin and do the right thing and try to minimize their impact when they're looking at someone else who's eating the burger and throwing the packet on the ground. You know, it's how do you go
Yeah.
forward with that mentality?
Unfortunately, I think there's not much that we can do other than what we have been doing, just educating and letting them know the repercussions of their actions. Because honestly, at the end of the day, people act when something is actually wrong. Your
Mhm.
plant is dying, you water it, you break your ankle, then you fix it. Or it's like going to
We're
the doctor. A lot of
reactionary.
people don't
Yeah.
go to the doctor until they actually have something wrong with them. So
Yeah.
it may have to be too late until people finally decide, oh man, we need to make a change right now.
Do you think that's why some of these big tech giants are gambling on the fact that it's gonna be too late before people realize that, and they're looking for and answers off world rather than looking at what is probably gonna be
Oh,
the
why do
big
you
fuck
think
I
up?
wouldn't be
Elon Musk
surprised
is
if they
so
have real
invested into
estate
it?
out there.
She's not wrong,
Yeah.
actually. You never know. Someone's got to own those Martian lands. You know, it's
Yeah,
big money
exactly.
in that.
Well, no, we
Crater
can't.
out on Mars, it belongs to Bill Gates probably. His
There's a-
spaceship's landing.
He's chilling out
No,
there
there's
already.
a-
He's like,
there's
I'm
a
out,
treaty.
boys. Out, boys.
There's actually a treaty that's been signed by just about everyone on the goddamn planet that states that we can't own anything or claim
it's signed by
land anywhere
governments.
else. Yeah.
Somebody goes out there and lands
corporations.
a ship. Guess what?
It's my house.
If
Like
you,
it's the old stake and claim, bro. Stake and a claim.
like the maritime law. If you land somewhere and plant
Undiscovered.
crops, guess what? It's a colony
This is true.
by international law.
Welcome
Yeah,
to Pottsieville, the back end of Mars.
Yeah.
Well, see, once upon a time, this is a perfect example. Once upon a time, Mars was a thriving planet. It was going by what space experts say, it was never ever going to last because it was so small.
Too
Like
small.
it just
Yeah.
it couldn't hold its own atmosphere forever, and eventually the sun grew out so far that it started cooking the planet, and that was it, gone. But Dory's scuffing the stream.
Sorry, my bad. I just noticed someone walk into chat, so I had to get the appropriate sound
You
ready.
had to get the sound ready.
That's ready. Yeah. All right, boys. Just to take a quick
Special guest.
intro here. Special guest has arrived. Miss Janelle Wheeler, welcome aboard. Good to have you with us. Let's assume the position, because we know what's going on here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for her savage majesty, by the grace of God, head of the wagon, driver of the Mario Kart, baker of the cakes, the platinum hair and the heart of gold, and her name is Janelle Wheeler.
Welcome aboard, Janelle Wheeler. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. She's a special guest of ours, a very special friend, the origination of where we all came from back in the day. Good to have you with us, Jay. Welcome aboard the Discord Boys podcast. We're chatting about the environment stuff here at the moment. Sorry to interrupt you there. Carry on. You were discussing off-world.
I actually have a controversial way to fix it.
All right, let's listen to PottsieTV's
fix a lot
controversial
of
way.
ways.
Here we go. Here we go.
Here we go. This is going to step on.
Is this wait? Let me just check. Is this TOS appropriate, Mr. Controversy? Before we fucking go too
It
far.
Burn the
it might
witches.
offend some Catholics.
Okay,
Oh,
good. Just oh god,
God
oh
bless
god.
children. Yeah.
I'd like to just put out a thing.
Yes.
This is PottsieTV's opinion. You
Stop
can
breeding.
ban him.
Have one fucking child. Just 25 years for the entire planet to say you're only allowed to have one goddamn child, because in one generation we could have stopped the human impact of this fucking planet.
Yeah.
Less resources consumed, less pollution is going to be put out there, less of everything. And people are going to jump up and, oh, you can't step on, like, religion has caused more fucking problems in this world, in the history of history, than anything else. So, you know what? Fuck them.
There's
We
an
need
easy
to
way,
fix
though,
this
Potsy.
planet.
Yeah,
Birth control.
We need to fix this
Easy
planet.
way.
General says Thanos Potsy.
Snap them out of
Wow.
existence.
The easiest
Well, we
zero
do.
effort way to fix this is to do absolutely nothing, go extinct, and then the environment will fix itself.
He's not
This
wrong.
is true.
He's not
Takes
wrong.
And
no
we
effort.
are going to head that way.
And it doesn't ask you to pay an extra $50 for your TV.
The thing is, we need to do something. We need to do something quite radical. Otherwise, we are going to get to the tipping point where there is simply no return, except the classic Wally.
Oh,
Everyone's
yeah.
seen Wally. We literally leave the planet until the planet sorts itself out.
Oh,
and come
Wall-E.
back.
Okay,
That is
yeah.
not going to work. It's not going to work. So we need to do something.
The planet will be fine.
Yeah, we'll
Just
all
the
just.
humans
The planet will sort itself
Well,
out.
do you think
but-
then there's merit to what these guys are saying when they're saying we just need to get off world? If we can move the entire species off the planet and leave it alone for the next X amount of years, and then come
No.
back when it's all sorted,
We can't.
Is
Because
this
we're
a-
just
is
gonna
this a
go
viable
somewhere else
plan?
and
Well,
no, we're just going to go somewhere else and fuck it.
essentially then the human race is like a fucking virus, is what you're saying, because then we're just going out and consuming
We are.
resources and moving on.
It is. That's the way we are acting at the moment. We just consume until there's nothing left, and then we move on. We see it all over the place. You can see it in the goddamn rainforest. You can see it in the species that are not here on this planet anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
In the
I was lucky
atmosphere, in
enough-
the air.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to see a tiger in one of the exhibits at the zoo. That tiger is now extinct. That breed of tiger is now extinct. I was lucky enough to see it just once, and it's like it's gone. You'll never see it again, and that's sad.
It
And
ha-
that's
happens a lot,
happening to countless other species every fucking day because we just go, oh no, we'll just fucking bulldoze this section of rainforest. You know, it's just we can't keep doing that. We can't just keep taking away what's making this planet run.
I agree. Deforestation, it's the worst thing that they're doing.
It's interesting. I saw an article, and I don't actually have it in the pile that I collected for the show. But it was regarding a couple that have planted over 2 million trees and reforested an entire area, and they've even seen the animals and stuff returning to that same area. And this is a couple, putting their entire 20 years on the line and doing this 20 years reforesting an entire area. And they're seeing environmental impact on that. It's almost a case of you got to ask yourself, if everyone just stopped fucking chasing the dream of trying to make the most money, more money than everybody else, and decided let's all just stop for the next 5 years, guys. Everybody can be sorted out. I don't, however everyone needs to be. No, we're not going to live the best years of our lives. We're all going to just put our backs in, plant fucking trees, sort shit out, and get to work for the next 5 years. How much of a change that would do? You know what I mean? It's like, if everybody could just collectively say, all right, pause life for 5 years, let's get our fucking backs out, put some fucking work in, fix the planet for a little bit, just to make a bit of an impact, what kind of a change that would have and what kind of an impact that would have.
Yeah, I don't think if you could even get 40% of people to do that, it wouldn't take years. It would take probably a month. Because if you're talking 2 people can do it in 20 years, how about 500 million people in 2 or 3 weeks? What an amazing difference you could make.
Indeed.
Yeah, we have a weekend like that every year in Australia where you go out and plant a tree. It's a huge thing. It's done all across the country.
Arbor Day here.
But
used to be.
We also try not to knock down what forests we have in Australia, and we do have a lot of forestry out there, but it's it's planted and then harvested, and that's how we have our building materials. It's how we have our paper and this and that and everything else. So we do try and do our bit, but there's other parts, and it's sad to say, but third world countries get raped for their resources. I mean, at the moment, it is cheaper to go and set up a farm in Africa and have the lands there because the lands are untouched. It's virgin ground. So these companies have now worked out, it's like, holy shit, we don't have to pay for fertilizer. We don't have to pay for this. The labor is cheap as fuck. It's easy to export from there because, well, it is. And so, yeah, fuck, it annoys me because we're taking advantage of poor people and we're also just raping the planet because it's easier and cheaper.
Yeah,
That
what?
goes into
Well, you got to chase those quarterly profits.
That's
You
the
don't get
corporate
you don't
mindset
get
at the
your
moment.
gigantic bonus if you don't show a profit every quarter.
And
That's
I mean,
that's the problem though. And there's no point making all this money if you're dead as well.
100%.
There's no point being the richest fuck in the cemetery.
Yeah, but you
Just
get to
saying.
be. You probably get to be the last guy alive.
That's true.
So essentially, the fucking planet's in one big fucking battle royale right now, and this is this is the way it's
You're
played
the-
out.
Yeah, you're the last man standing.
Environmental battle royale. Holy shit! Actually, that could be a good game. You know, any
It
game
is.
with
It's
battle royale.
called nuclear war. Actually, a nuclear war would actually settle out the planet quite quickly. In the essence, that it would bring on an ice age.
Dude, I've watched the
and
100. It's
it
fucking
fixed it.
hardcore. That's essentially what that
No, but
entire
it's
show is
true.
about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a hectic topic, and it's not something we're gonna solve in one night. But at least the more we discuss this type of thing and bring it to people's attentions and get discourse on it amongst people, and just have it in people's minds, I think it's got to have some sort of impact. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, it's just not even brought up to them. People aren't aware of things that are going on. A lot of people live lives in such a sheltered way or such a focused way that they don't even think about this type of stuff. And the more you can bring it out there, and even what Jay's talking about in chat with shows like Chernobyl and all that type of thing, bringing up different environmentally focused things, it's got to have some sort of impact on society at the end of the day. Coming from someone who's busy studying, do you find that there's a lot of people pushing this type of agenda in the environment, in the educational environment, or is it something that's not really discussed?
Oh, definitely. Professors, even students, I feel like when you're educated about these things, you're more inclined to act on it, especially being educated in something that's your major, something that you're passionate about. So, if someone in a mathematics field was educated about climate change, they probably wouldn't care that much. But as someone who is going into building and construction, you're more like, I want to be the change. I want to make a change. I want to be a part of the change. So I think it all just depends. You need to have the right group of people, the right amount of people who are willing to make that change, and that's all that it takes. It takes a few people to step forward to make better buildings, more efficient, even power plants, things that produce the things that we make buildings with. If we take a step back, reduce our carbon footprint.
You can only lead to better
One
things.
step at a time, baby steps.
Baby steps, but we got to make some steps. I think that's the general consensus.
Exactly.
We've got to get off our butts and do it. Get off our butts.
Well, speaking of power plants, I did read another. I do a lot of reading, believe it or not. I did read an article about 6 months ago. Yeah, imagine that, Australian that can read. We're not all convicts.
It's a rare case here, boys. It's a rare case.
But there is a professor of nuclear physics that has actually. She's trying to get funding, and I don't know why it's not. She has found a way on small scale that can use up the leftover nuclear, or they call it spent nuclear fuel rods. Problem is that the nuclear power plant only uses about 10% of the available material that's in these.
It's the americium is what they're going to extract from the spent fuel.
Yeah, but she's found a way that she can actually use all of it and still be able to make this, a reasonable source of making electricity, which is essentially just using nuclear material to make heat to boil water. Boil water spins turbines, so it's still working on old tech. But the fact that there is almost zero waste left over compared to now we've got these radioactive bloody rods that have got to be stored somewhere. That's the big problem. And considering that Australia, we mine a lot of uranium here. We're very rich in uranium. And we export that shit. But then you realize, like, we're exporting tons of this stuff and then it's getting used. And then 90% of what we export has got to be stored somewhere. And it's like, becomes a problem, like a big one.
True.
The problem is...
to the extent that Australia has gone, well, we'll just keep using coal. So unfortunately, we have coal power stations. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, you were saying, Jimbo?
The problem is with it, like I said, like that we get that technology, like nuclear power is a very clean source of energy, but we don't have a unlimited amount of it anyway, so it's a finite source of energy in the long run. So then the question is, let's say it takes 50 years to develop these nuclear power plants that are like so good. should we instead use those 50 years in developing solar energy and wind energy?
Yeah.
Maybe it's kind
Well,
of
the
like,
problem is
what
that
do
we
we do?
could probably develop it a lot faster. But we just spend more money each year on like, how can we make a better weapon to shoot the shit out of someone? Like, honestly, the
Yeah.
budget that America spends, I'm just going to say
Trillions.
this,
Yeah.
is phenomenal. I mean, I'm sure with the military budget that America alone spends, because out of the other 25 countries that are United Nations, America spends more money than all of them combined in military funding alone,
Insane.
It's true. Yeah.
which is scary. We could probably cure AIDS with that much money. I'm just saying.
You know,
You could do a
cancer.
lot. You could do a lot.
Cancer, we could do a lot.
Probably
Stupidity.
already is a cure, but there's a lot of money that goes into those industries.
Into
Yeah,
treating.
this is true.
Yeah.
That's another whole guest topic
whole
right
other
there.
rabbit
That's
hole, yeah.
another. That's you can come back and another next week,
but
and
with- yeah,
then we can talk all
with-
about that for another 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, imagine what we could do with the space program if we took 10%, 1% of that and put it into NASA. Holy shit! Maybe we might
We might
actually
find
go and visit
that other
somewhere.
place that we need to go when this place explodes. So you never know.
Trolls go to Venus. We go to somewhere better.
Trolls to Venus, go. All right, cool. I'm gonna say we're gonna cap that guest topic there. Otherwise, we are gonna be here for the rest of time because it's an issue that honestly we could talk about forever because it affects everybody. And it's something that needs to be discussed. And I'm glad that we were able to at least get some views on it and thinking. Thanks for bringing that as a topic. It's a cool one. We haven't actually done anything environmental before, so hope that was a good one. But we're gonna move forward now out of the guest theme topics into the next section, which is this week in gaming.
Ooh.
So this is an interesting one, and I'm so disappointed that someone isn't here to discuss this particular topic. It's a new
Absolutely.
invention that Xbox are working on. Guess what, boys? An Xbox controller with a built-in Braille display is Microsoft's latest gaming or accessibility game. They've actually built in Braille into a gaming controller, and this is an absolutely interesting idea. Potsie's dying slowly in the corner there, but when you read the article, you see what it's all about, and what they're talking about on it is yeah, exactly, Bertie. It's a controller for Soli. But it's a valid point because a lot of people they have vision issues, right? Where they can see enough of the game, to play it on a big screen and everything, but they can't read the text. Like if you're playing a Zelda or whatever it is, or anything with a text-based, system, you can see what's going on and you can enough to play the game well enough, but you can't read what the hell's going on. This is actually what they're working on is putting the text on a Braille on the controller itself. It looks freaking awesome. Like when you look at the concept of what they're gonna do, I think it's a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
That they're looking at. Do you guys think this is a viable thing? Do you think it's gonna be worth their time?
I mean, it's very niche. Clearly, I mean, there's only going to be a certain subset of gamers who see exactly enough to be able to play a visual game, but can't read text on a screen. But I think any kind of innovation like that is valuable because who knows where it's going to, it may not be valuable as a controller, but it may end up somewhere else. Once it's a mature technology, and Microsoft has the money to invest in it, not for profit. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and the big thing at the moment is they're leading into accessibility gaming. They are pushing the thing as one of their go-tos. And it's just interesting to see that they are actively deving out different solutions for this type of thing. If you guys, do you have any issues with accessibility on certain games? Do you have something like this that affects you when you're gaming that you would like to see an innovation? Or have you got a family member, someone you know? Or what type of innovation would you guys like to see to help people with disabilities in a gaming environment? Is there anything in particular that jumps to mind? Jimbo? White man in the corner? Jimbo? You paying attention?
I don't know.
No.
I mean, kind of hard when you don't you don't really think about it when you don't have a disability. So, I mean, there's probably a lot of people there that want different kinds of controllers. Maybe they're missing a finger or two. I don't know.
That's true.
That kind of stuff. So, I mean,
like a controller,
I think it's
everything
a really
that
good
can
idea.
help.
Yeah.
And I think it's opening the door for, future things. If there's ever another type of disability that needs special access in some way, I think it's a really great idea. being more inclusive of other people, not only thinking about people who have no issues, but
Yeah, who does it hurt?
yep.
There's no downside.
No, not at all. More money
Oh,
in it.
there
in
is a
way.
downside to it.
What's that?
If you go and have a look for Microsoft, come out with I think it was Microsoft, it was a huge build it yourself controller for
Yeah.
people that have severe handicaps.
Yeah.
The price tag for that is phenomenal.
Yeah, of course it is.
stupid.
They can't mass produce them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a reality of mass production. You know,
No, but
what do you think an
sad,
Xbox would cost if you had to make it by hand?
I don't know.
You know,
But the
probably
thing
be
is-
$20,000.
The thing is, they shouldn't be doing it for a profit thing. Like I know that they've got to go in, they've got to get tooling done, they've got to get this and so on and so forth, and it's not going to be a huge seller.
Yeah.
But it's sad that there isn't more stuff out on the market at a reasonable price for people that do have disabilities. Some people don't have the function of one hand or both hands and want to play games. So now they've got to do it by other means.
So you're saying they should get this tech for free, is what you're saying?
Not for free, but make it a reasonable price.
Agreed.
There was a video on it from Linus Tech Tips a few weeks ago now that I watched, and he actually plugged together this thing. Is for people that are that do have it, and they've got to use like the little witch's hat, or they don't have full control, and they've got to press buttons and use chin movements and all that other sort of thing. I mean,
okay, so we're saying two different things then, Potsy. So I'm
Well,
saying
this
that
is
the
for
cost
someone-
the cost of the actual item to be produced because of the mass production economy, the way mass production works, is not going to change. What the end user should pay for it, yeah, I could see that. I think it would be fantastic if Microsoft did a write down for it and just called it a charitable donation or whatever, so that an end user could have one for $30 or $40. That would be fantastic. But it's still going to cost you a ton of money to make 10 of them.
Yeah, this is true.
They have enough money.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not arguing that.
Sacrifice
I'm just saying that the device is going to cost a lot to make.
Yeah, it's just sad that it does. I understand the problem behind doing shit like that, but you're not going to have to make millions of them.
But if you're even if you want to be cynical about it and let the marketing folks have it, how much goodwill do you get out of making 10 of them and giving them away?
That's true.
That's true.
It's true.
You know, for all the terrible things that they've done over time, you know, it's an easy win.
I mean, it's not like it would be a lot for someone to prove that they have a disability. A simple doctor's note submission when you order it online or something like that. Hey, instant discount. You know what I mean? Like it's not difficult. It's not a difficult thing to set up. And I think it would, as you say, the goodwill that would go towards the company for doing this type in that position only be beneficial from even a marketing point of view. So it's not an outrageous thing to
price
suggest.
tag somewhere for this new Braille controller, because that'd be an interesting thing to.
They haven't. It's still obviously worked out.
A concept.
Conceptual, so they haven't pushed it up. It's just it's being looked at as one of their new techs, and it's quite far along in depth.
See something similar to that going kind of mainstream too, because if it's another way for you to receive information without having to look away from the reticle.
True. I mean, if you were able to read Braille and be able to use your eyes staring at the screen and get information at your fingertips from that were essentially doing nothing on the back of the controller. I mean sitting there with a controller, you've got a whole bunch of extra things going on here.
If you know that your magazine is about to go in because you're getting feedback in writing under your fingertip, you know.
There you go, and that's a way to sell it to the masses.
You're applying for a professional gaming team. It's like, can you read Braille? It's like, nope, sorry, mate, you're out.
It can come to that.
I mean, it's and that's
what a cool way to have Braille go out to the masses too, because you know
you make it popular like that.
How many other places that Braille is actually probably better than writing?
No, I don't know.
It's an interesting thought.
Is it though? Like it's like I've looked at how Braille works, and it's long and slow process to learn it. I mean, you got to have some really good bloody touch sensation.
But that's for you and me. You start teaching it to a 2-year-old. See how good they are by the time it matters.
True. But to even read something out because you got to go along and then sort of piece it all together, it's a lot longer.
Yeah, but warning
actual reading.
signs, imagine if you could put every 2 or 3 feet what floor you're on a banister of a stairwell leaving a building. So in the dark,
smoke,
when the
that.
building's on fire, you can tell exactly where you are just by grabbing onto the handrail, but nobody can read it now. And if you can make that mainstream because it's on a gaming controller, now all of a sudden you have another way to give emergency information to people.
Very cool idea.
Yeah,
true.
not a bad point.
Cool. So yeah, I thought it was unfortunate that Sully wasn't here to give us his opinion on the Braille controller, but it's a very cool story that I saw and caught my eye when we were checking it out. The other thing that's been the big talk of the week, amongst most of the gaming community, has been what's been going over at Riot Games. This has been a big story that we've seen a lot of people having opinions in. Essentially, if you guys don't know what's going on, there's 2 major court cases that were going on over at Riot Games around sexism and misconduct within the studio itself, which the company then had go out via forced arbitration, and a whole bunch of the workers said, "No, fuck this shit, we out of here." They walked out of the studio this week in protest. Have you guys been following the story at all? Have you been checking it out? Have you heard anything? Do you have opinions on it?
I haven't even heard of it, to be honest.
Followed it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys know who Riot Games is, right? The League of Legends guys. So they're one of the biggest companies we've seen. About checking out the numbers earlier, League of Legends is one of the biggest games on Twitch and amongst a lot of gamers at the moment. I think it kicked off in San Francisco, and the LA offices run about 2 p.m. or something. People just leaving the offices and gathering in the car park outside in protest to it. This kind of thing, it's a thing that's going on in the back ends of the studio quite a bit, apparently. I mean, like I haven't been following the story as much as I've just seen it popping up everywhere this week. But apparently it goes back to the old adage of gaming being a boys' club and all the developers and the IT people being predominantly male dominated and that type of thing. Apparently this goes on quite a lot. The woman at Riot Games is saying they've been suffering sexual harassment quite a bit, a lot of discrimination against them as female workers at the company, and a lot of people saying, that enough is enough. This shouldn't be going on. Obviously, I'm pretty sure most of us have the same opinion on this as a society's position on it. Do you think we need to see more people joining in solidarity with these people to try and get this type of behavior out of these type of environments, or do you think this is just another small just one company having a meltdown legally by trying to sweep it under the table? And do you think it's going to affect Riot Games profit margin and people that play their games?
Well, they don't have to pay they don't have to pay for people that aren't working at the moment, so that's one way. The other end of the scale is they haven't got anyone there running the company. I mean,
first of all, yes, I know I had to Google it, what forced arbitration was. I don't know if anyone wants to explain it.
If you Googled it, drop the knowledge bomb on us.
Yeah, I can give it to you quickly. Basically, normally, if you, if you're sexually harassed or whatever, you have the option of going through civil court and having your case heard. An arbitrator is someone who you basically is a hired judge, who you explain your side, the other side explains their side, and that single person just makes a decision and it's binding. The problem is, normally with forced arbitration, the arbitrator is paid for by the company. So there is, at the very least, the appearance of impropriety. So you don't
they
have
basically
access to a court system where you have rules of evidence and you have, hundreds of years of legal precedent, and you just have some guy.
That the company picked to make the decision. I can see why they were a bit pissed off about that, because it's like, hey, we've got a problem with the way you handle the company. Okay, well, we're going to pick someone, and he's going to say whether we give a shit. And he's going to go,
he knows
no.
We're canceling the contract if he pays you too much. So you're now going to get a gift certificate to Dunkin' Donuts and a weekend off.
Not exactly the solution I think most people would be wanting in a case like this. You know what I mean? So it's a valid point. You can see why they were up in arms about it.
Yeah.
Do you think these kind of protests have an impact on the bigger corporations, like walkouts and things like that? Have you seen it be effective?
I hope they do.
Or,
yeah,
you know,
when investors are afraid that it's going to affect the bottom line, absolutely.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
have you
I mean,
guys
It's
look
ever
what happened with
2019.
Bethesda.
Why is
Yeah.
sexism and sexual harassment still a thing in these workplaces? I don't understand why
Because they're
people.
driven by old men in their
Yeah.
80s that lived back in the
Yeah.
1960s, and they just
And
need
frankly,
to be
people who
removed.
will do that find places where they can get away with it.
You say that they're old men in their 60s, though, Potsy. This is Riot Games, dude. That's not run by old men in their
Yeah.
60s. This is
But
run
still,
by
like,
younger
Who do you think has all the
generational
money?
people.
But I mean,
Yeah.
look at Twitch chat sometimes. It's
Mhm.
some people like these where they're like, women are not gamers, or even the guy we were talking about earlier who got banned saying those sexist
Yeah.
remarks. That you have people like this who were raised a certain way, who had dads or moms who, had these, I don't know, traditional gender roles, whatever going on, and they have these ideas coming into the workplace. They move up in the ranks, and then they, I don't know, say
They
to
perpetuate it. Yeah.
say to the intern, Janice, the intern who just wants to be a video game designer, like, go make me a sandwich and then maybe I'll talk to you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
exactly that. It's the sins of the
they
fathers,
do,
you know what I mean?
But those
That's
like minds tend to find each other, and then it goes unpunished.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, because at least in the U.S. it's illegal, so
You would
eventually it
hope.
catches up. Well, assuming that the conduct is that bad, but eventually it catches up, and then you have people get fired, and you have a lot of HR training going on.
it's a difficult thing, and it's to weed out the old school boys club mentality, and we've seen it. We've talked about the numbers and the shift in dynamic.
It's dying on the vine because like we talked about last week, 48% of gamers now are women.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's right up there. So there's no reason.
The writing is on the wall. Like, the old boys club is over.
And it's
There's
good that
too
people are
much.
speaking
Yeah.
out on it as well. I mean, even
Right.
in the acting industry, people coming out against producers.
hmm
And now less of it will happen because these big producers are scared. I don't want her to expose me trying to sexually assault her. Yeah. Their career is on the line. And at this point, Riot is probably going to learn a lesson. Don't hire sexist assholes.
Right.
100%.
Or
And if
don't
you
even
accidentally
let
do,
the
crush it out of the
infestation
third
of that attitude start in the first place.
Exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
Yep.
And we'll
someone's
see-
tolerated it to the point where it's just become the norm in that company. So
Mhm.
whoever was HR manager there, you shit at your job. Just say it.
Someone joked about it, and then it just kept going, and now everyone's probably like, make me a sandwich, Janice, the intern.
100%, and that's probably where
Yeah.
it starts. And it's an interesting thing, and I'm not defending anybody at all. I'm just saying that, like, you look at the way a bunch of guys joke with each other is to give each other a lot of shit most of the time, and then you get girls that come into the group, and instantly there's an attitude change. You have to be on a little bit more of a better behavior amongst most people. You notice it just from a general psychology point of view. Guys tend to act not so much like big dicks when there's a girl involved, you know what I mean? And it unfortunately, though, the reverse is, if she spends too much time with the boys, then she becomes almost like one of the boys, I guess. I don't know how you would class it. And then the jokes start flowing. And I'm not saying that the jokes are right, but, it just takes, like you say, one person to make the sandwich comment. All the guys go, and it becomes acceptable. She obviously being outnumbered or whatever it is, because there's probably less of a representation of women in the environment.
Yeah.
Doesn't say anything back, goes along with the joke. Also the intimidation,
peer pressure
all
for the other
that type of
males in
thing.
the area.
And
Plus they're like, oh, you can't take a joke. Like, we were just messing with you. Why are you overreacting?
And then
she
she's made out
starts
to be the
feel bad.
person. Exactly.
Well, I mean, when you have the developer at the bottom of the chain who is male, I mean, I'm just making a story here, but he's male. It's his first job. He's supporting a family, and his vice president of the development division comes in and says, make a sandwich. How's he going to speak out about it? He's got people at home who need the paycheck.
That's true.
And you got a VP who's an influencer, so now he's just made that behavior okay.
Is that part of his job description though? Like, this fucking prick can come in and say, "Make me a sandwich." And it's like, well, mate, it's not my job description. You want a sandwich? Make it yourself, or go and buy one. Like,
yeah, but you can't say that to someone who has control over your paycheck.
Because
Unless
Yeah,
you
if
say,
someone's
"Fuck
higher
you."
up in the company,
Yes, you can.
you'll get kicked
Well,
out.
you can, but
You know what social politics is like in an office environment, mate. You can't just fucking tune your boss. You're a dick, Fucking.
Do
I mean,
you
in the
think
long run,
at
you would
any
get away with
point
that.
in my
Yeah.
working career that someone actually came in and told me to make him a sandwich, and I did it?
And I think you can't base
Yes, and it was probably Nutella and
society.
Vegemite.
Nutella and Vegemite, exactly. I think it's personalities have to be taken into account too. A lot of different
Yeah,
people.
I think if
react to
someone walked in and
situations
told me to make him a sandwich, they'd get a piece of bread with a turd in it.
Lovely.
Well, and
And
then
they'd
there
never
goes
ask me to
your
make 'em a sandwich again.
resume.
Right,
There
exactly.
goes your opportunity of building
No,
up your
not-
resume. And
Yeah,
making
what
him a
must
they
be
found
very
out-
different
Hey, I need
here
a
in
reference
Australia. It doesn't-
for Potsy.
does not
Well,
work
he's a
like
turd
that here.
sandwich. Fuck that guy. Oh, okay, we're not hiring that guy. Fuck, he's out. You know what I mean? It's gonna follow you around,
Yeah.
and that's office politics. At the end of the day.
Yeah, that doesn't fly here. Not in Australia anyway. I don't know what it's like overseas, but in Australia, no. If someone came in and said, "Make me a sandwich," you might as well just kill yourself because they're going to take your house. They're going to take your they're going to take everything.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
it
but
just doesn't work.
but for someone who is new into a
Mm,
to a career, they're not gonna fight a corporation. They're just not
right.
gonna do it.
If
I
a
mean,
CEO
yeah,
of a
Nope.
company came up to me if I was an intern there and said, "Hey, go grab me some coffee," I would probably go grab them some coffee. I want to look good. I want to build my resume. I want to move up in the company. And I think getting yourself into a situation like that where you do one
Yeah.
small favor and then next will be like, come into my office after hours and I'll definitely put in a good word for you for your next job. It kind of grows from there.
Yep.
No, I think that your work ethic should be taken into account everywhere. And I understand what you're trying to say, but if you let someone treat you like a doormat the first day, like the VPs come in and said, "Make me a sandwich," and you do it, that's what you are every time that person comes around. Now you are just a buddy. Go get me this boy or girl.
Right,
whatever
but the
you
reason
wanna
they get
call
away with it is because if they think they can get away with it, they're gonna fire you if you make
That's
noise.
true, yeah.
And you have to make a choice between your paycheck. I mean, yes, eventually you're gonna win that court case, most likely. But that's 2, 3, 4 years down the road by the time the corporate
A
lawyer
lot
gets
of
the end of it.
legal expenses, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta eat to make it to the end of the court case.
And God forbid
Yeah,
they have a
well-
forced arbitration, and then that guy's going to give you like $9 anyway. Like,
Exactly.
here's your
That's
Vegemite sandwich. Good luck.
yeah, take your fucking Vegemite and go, mate. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, you're blacklisted in the industry now. Good luck.
Yeah, fucked. Yeah, and that's it.
Damn.
That's also
Yeah.
one
Oh,
of those
that
things.
other company you wanted to work for? Yeah, me and him.
Yeah, we play
Yeah,
we
we
play
play
we're
golf on the
best
Glitches
friends.
together. You fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna let him know what you did by your
That's
LinkedIn
also illegal,
profile.
but yeah.
Say goodbye to that.
100%.
I'm just saying that shit doesn't work here.
No, it's absolutely 100% wrong. It's absolutely illegal,
It just happens.
but it's reality.
All
And
right,
it's
cool.
and it needs, yeah, definitely its days are numbered, hopefully.
I can tell the Game of Thrones has started. I just...
Oh, Game of Thrones. I can watch that.
Yeah, watch it later. All right, so just another interesting thing that I noticed was browsing through this article. China's online gaming market is huge. It's bigger than the entire population of the United States. The
That's
amount
crazy.
of PC gamers in China. That's just PC gamers. You think, despite a year-long licensing fees and approval, PC gaming, China is a behemoth, $16 billion industry. Whoa! Thanks so much, Dan Hollick,
Thanks,
for
Dan.
giving the sub to Flirtini. Flirtini, welcome aboard as a fully fledged crewmate here on the kaelanDori crew. With those emotes when you want to spam them. So basically, what they were saying is, you're looking at China's PC industry. There's by 2023 there'll be an estimated 354 million PC gamers playing online games in China. That is a shitload of PC
Yeah.
gamers. Holy hell!
Yeah.
You got to
It's
understand.
a lot of
like,
PCs.
that's a lot of fucking PCs, mate. Again, that's huge. I mean, you can see why now. People worry about the gaming market with regards to the Chinese influence, because they're a huge number, and they design specifically, a bunch of games to fit into their environment. And you look at, they've got some pretty stringent gaming laws, I think, with regards to what content can be in games too, regarding
Yeah.
skulls and bones and violence and that type of thing.
Yeah,
So you'll see
they banned a lot of games.
They ban a shitload. So you actually see a lot of the dev houses designing two versions of the game. I know Blizzard does it quite a lot. They've got an entire separate version of World of Warcraft, with half of the stuff on all
I
or,
saw
stuff
a
designed.
story that they ripped off PUBG, like a Chinese developer made basically a China OK version of PUBG.
They did. I saw that somewhere. I think it was called Game of Peace. So
Where you shoot hugs at each other.
It's something
There
like
was
that.
also
I'm
the
coming for you.
Overwatch bootleg as well.
Yeah, there's a
Awesome.
whole bunch. So it's an
problem-
interesting. Yeah.
The
Much
problem
good,
is,
so
though, if you
impressed.
have a look at the market over there, like there is a lot of copyright that goes on, and the problem is that when these massive companies try and take on the thing, the Chinese government go, "I don't know what you're talking about. It looks
Yeah.
nothing like PUBG." And
That's
it'd
one of the
be a
things
direct-
the Pan-Pacific Partnership was supposed to address the IP theft in China, but it kind of fell apart because, you know,
It's
everyone
not just gaming though. It's
oh yeah, corporate
it's
secrets
everything.
of any kind. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to look at these guys' growth
they're-
pattern. Insane. I mean, but remember that from March 2018, the Chinese government put a temporary freeze on the licensing of all new games. So it's
almost a year.
for a whole
Yeah.
year. There was
Whole year.
like nothing new, mates. You're done. You know, 2018 was even worse than 2019 is for gaming for the rest of us. There was fuck all. You know, and they still are growing at these kind of rates. It's crazy.
But it's
Didn't
also
we have the
like-
article? Didn't we have an article last week about wasn't it 50% of all PC was gonna go to console?
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. And
Yeah.
this is a huge number. Yeah.
But if you have a look over there, like there's a few websites that you can get stuff sent from China to you, and it's a knockoff of hardware, but you can get it at a stupidly cheap price. So over there, you can actually build a gaming PC relatively cheap, like stupidly cheap. So you can get yourself in to play games and that. Yeah, they are knockoff components, and some of them don't work or they don't perform like they're supposed to. But you know, you can get around it with a couple of quick fixes or just maybe a quick hardware change. But you can literally go up with a couple of $100 and build yourself a full PC, and that's a monitor, a case, all the internals, keyboard, mouse, and away you go. Like that's like it's more, I suppose, easy access over there for them to become part of the gaming community or to get involved. And the internet's phenomenal. Over
It's
there
also
too.
because they have 138,000 internet cafes. You know
There's
what I mean?
so many
that is
people in
also-
China.
There's
What,
a
isn't it
shitload,
the
yeah.
second most
Yeah.
populated country?
100%.
Yeah, there's a couple of billion of them.
1.2 billion or something.
Whew.
It's a massive
It's a
amount.
lot of people.
Massive
1,200
amount.
million people.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely huge growth and everything happening over there. Just massive numbers to deal with on a basis like that. Looking at something else that I think might pull some massive numbers, or it might not. There's a rock paper scissors tournament going on Twitch, and it's going to be broadcast. Look at this! What an absolute competition! Are you guys ready? Can you handle a little rock paper scissors? It is true. I saw it and I laughed my ass off because it's like I never thought I'd see the day, but this looks fantastic. It's a real thing. Rock paper scissors competition is being broadcast
An
on
actual
Twitch.
tournament
An
for
actual
esports.
Tournament.
Yeah.
An esports tournament for rock paper
A
scissors,
full
boys and
team
girls.
of commentators? That's insane.
This is
Yeah.
how this is
And look
amazing.
at the determination as he picks paper.
God!
The crowd goes wild.
He's chosen scissors again. He's chosen scissors. We never
Yeah,
saw
so
his
it's gotta be-
competition.
Insane 10-time rock paper scissors champion.
I'm thinking though, how do they like judge it? Like
Sponsored by
if someone is
Fisker.
half a second late picking, like
There's got to be.
no,
There's
you
got to
were-
be
you were
strict
too late.
rules.
Leisure.
We're gonna have to
Fiskers,
watch
play
that.
the game.
Yeah, we're
Well,
gonna
it's
see
a
that
game
in
of chance,
slow-mo.
really. If you're playing it on a computer, you've got three choices. You can either pick rock, paper, or scissors. So you got a 33% chance that you're gonna win that hand.
Dude, quite honestly, I'd watch this tournament. I don't know why, but I would watch this. I mean, I don't know. It seems kind of
yeah,
interesting
I'd rather
to
go
see
kiss
how
a
they-
shotgun, but you know, each to their own.
There's
It
this.
might be fun to watch though.
I'd just love to
Could
see
be
how
a
the
bit
commentators,
entertaining.
gonna
Exactly,
pull
yes.
this off.
I think the commentators will make or break it. If
That's
they're
it.
boring,
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
it'll be a boring show. But if they're good, if they're exciting, yeah, you'll be on the edge of your seats, like, Oh my god, they're tied. Who's gonna pick paper? Who's gonna pick rock?
Will paper dominate? We've seen him paper dominating.
And I
all
wonder though,
day.
when you do it face to face, if you can have like some tells or stuff and stuff like that.
That's it. I mean, there's got to be. There's a psychology game to rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I know when I play against people, I rock paper scissors. Yeah.
You like to slide
to
that
read their
paper
body
in.
language.
It's a lot about that. You're kind of giving them the I'm gonna do this. You're trying to read into them. You're giving them the eyebrow. You know, there's a whole bunch of
Eye
stuff.
Don't be
contact.
cheating,
No.
Dory. You're doing it.
Little-
You're just doing it 1/2 second after them. So what do you pick then?
It's all about sleight of hand, right? I'm coming in and
Well,
this is
that's
a
why they have a
rock. They're going
referee.
for rock, and then I
Yeah,
go.
but Dory hasn't had that when he had to compete with other
Yeah,
people.
they actually have a referee.
They
It's
have
amazing.
a full referee, dude. It's a full
They're treating
tournament.
it like it's like a cricket match or something. You know?
Is there a cash prize on the line? I'll go compete as well.
You know what I'm saying? It's
There's
not
got to
like you
be,
need
right? They got to be paying these people somehow, right?
Exactly.
Sponsored by Monster
$50,000.
Energy Drink. So
Sponsored by Monster. It's a real deal. So I mean, make sure you guys tune in. We've got it.
That's-
We'll have to
funny.
cover it
I
next
mean-
week and see who won.
I don't foresee it becoming a long time thing, but as a novelty, that's pretty amazing.
I just.
PottsieTV's been disqualified because he used dynamite.
I thought it would have been this one, bro. There's the PottsieTV dynamite right there, like
Yeah.
the middle fuse.
It's the Aussie eucalyptus tree.
I just saw it and I couldn't believe it. I thought that's fantastic. It's gonna be a good content, that one, for at least half an hour. To go watch the tournament.
I might give it half a minute if it doesn't impress me.
Dude,
then
it's got to
I'm
be
gonna
as
stick by it. No,
Dennis
it can't
says.
be.
It's got to be
it'd
down to
like
the
watching
commentators.
fucking Battle Tetris. You know, it's just.
It's down to the commentators.
Jesus
If you
Christ.
have a good commentary team, you can make anything fucking exciting, man. Let me tell you.
This
Even
is true.
marbles
I
on
mean,
stream.
Marbles
Yeah.
on stream,
I
you've
mean,
got a good commentator.
lot of fun,
It's
yeah.
exciting as balls. You know, there's it's marbles.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, Bear Grylls made going to your backyard exciting. You know, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it will come down to commentators. It'd have to be if they're a funny bunch that can actually pull something off. Yeah,
Yeah, it was fun.
I think it's gonna be interesting. Get out.
And it's got to be tongue in cheek. Well, I'm sure that there is a thriving rock paper scissors league in the real world because it's just the kind of thing that people would
Do
do.
you think there is?
Yeah, I don't think it's huge, but I think people are probably very dedicated to it.
I'd love to see it,
For
Drew.
sure.
I'd love to see the
Yeah.
guy
I'm
that
sure
like
someone
suits
in
up on the
Amazon was
weekend,
on
Drew,
it.
puts on the wristband, his fucking jacket on, fucking I'm ready, boys. Walks in, fucking puts the bag down, dusts the handle or whatever it is. All right, boys, I'm ready. Here we go. Rock paper scissors. Let's do some warm ups. You know, something.
Yeah.
Sprained my wrist last month, so I got a little aggressive.
Guys standing there.
Sorry,
with
Billy
guy-
can't hang out. I gotta go to rock paper scissors.
Oh shit, that is gonna be
Awesome.
fantastic. Gonna be fantastic. All right, getting back to some more serious gaming. There we go. It's even in the UK. There's a UK rock paper scissors tournament going there. It's linked in. We can go check
See?
it out.
I'll
Go check
see you
it out.
there, Dor.
Oh, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do a
UK
live stream
meetup.
from there.
Compete
We're gonna do
against
it.
each other.
That's it. We're gonna
Be
do it.
awesome.
I'm in.
Up on Arthur's seat. Rock paper scissors with a view.
Yes, please. I'm ready.
That'll be in those EU paper sizes. You know, you use A4 instead of letter.
Did you use A4? What is that? Is that letter? What is that? All the different paper sizes. Great.
I'll tell you what, we'll have a rock paper scissors championship at TwitchCon. So
Yes.
and it's
Fantastic.
Yes.
$5 prize pool.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes,
Brilliant.
please.
I just
You gotta
clicked the
go.
link. I just clicked the link I got posted. It was one guy is dressed like Superman. I think it's
It's gonna be fun. I mean,
Like, well.
it's gonna be as fun as you make it, right? These type of
Yeah.
things. It's as fun as you make it. You can be boring
I mean,
and just have three guys
we've
standing
got
around, or you
beer
can have a good
pong.
lot of fun.
Mhm.
what was it? We got beer pong and something else that we're doing, so we might as well.
Rock
Might as
paper
well
scissors
bring
tournament is
something
on like
else.
it's gone. That's
Yeah,
right.
someone
TwitchCon
need to read-
Rock
2019.
someone
paper
need to read the
scissors
rules.
drinking game.
I can see it now.
Yes.
You lose, you
Which
take a
PS?
shot.
TwitchCon
Yeah.
2019.
drinking
Discord
game.
boys. Ready to rumble.
You've been waiting to do that for 2 hours.
rock paper scissors battle royale. That's it.
Battle. Oh my god. That's the
Oh,
tournament
don't give 'em
format.
ideas.
That's the tournament format. All right, it's on. It's
You
on.
can only
This
pick
is
up
a
so
real
many
thing.
rocks and so many scissors. And you can only
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to find them first. You need to
You're gonna
collectible
find the
card
actual
game.
rocks. You have to look around, and whatever item you find in the cabana somewhere, that's the only one you can use.
Why?
I found the rock.
You
I
gotta
got the
steal scissors from the
Oh,
desk in
shit.
the hotel.
You got like 4 minutes. Exactly.
Wait, that would be amazing.
That'd be so good, right?
Until someone gets injured.
Yeah, someone gets
They
stabbed.
end up with a scissor in their stomach.
So it's all... Ow.
Trying to run back.
Some serious hardcore gaming here. Hardcore gaming.
No, Agatha's into Sweden. What?
There we go.
It's great, considering that the sweets are all in my fucking name. So this would be fun. So why is there blood everywhere? I don't know.
No idea. Oh, hashtag blame PottsieTV. The tournament got wild.
Yeah. So the tournament got out of hand.
It got out of
what's that
hand.
bloke over there?
Should be fun.
Jesus.
Should be fun. All right, so let's have a look at another one here. It's something that affects the PS4 people. Megan, now you've got the EA gaming subscription already, I think, for PC, correct?
Yeah.
It's coming
with
to the
the Origin
PS4 in July, so you can do, and the prices are insane. It's going to be $30 for a full year subscription, EA's gaming subscription service on the PlayStation, and that's going to give you unlimited access to Madden 19, Battlefield 5, Star Wars Battlefield, all the big games for $30 a year. That's cheap as hell, because that's half the price of a AAA game. For a PlayStation, I mean, that seems like the only way to go, really.
Yeah.
Do you think this
I mean,
is...
if you're gonna buy one, if you're sure that you're gonna buy one AAA game from EA every year, it's a no-brainer.
100%. It's half the price for a AAA game. You can literally play all their top stuff for half the price of one game.
I just like that it says Australian pricing is yet to be announced. It's like, fuck you guys.
Is there already a subscription for EA? I don't think so, right?
There is
for
for
PC.
PC.
See, yeah.
Yeah,
It
so
is.
you can have. I actually have it. It's $100 a year for Origin Premier, which lets you play most of their catalog for that one
Okay.
price. So as long as you would normally have bought 1.5 titles on average per year, it works out.
Especially since you
Yeah, but
consider
this
most
goes
people...
back to a discussion we had the other week where these streaming or these platforms like this that are coming out, or services I should say, they're just undercutting like the company's own throat. Like, why not just have it so that people can go out? And I know that they're trying to appeal to more people and blah 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 blah, but you know, the devs that put in the time and money, they're getting screwed over by practices like this. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's wrong.
And part of the
Come
reason
on
they
and say
do it is because if they can charge you a monthly fee, they can report revenue every quarter rather than having to wait for a Christmas release and only reporting a profit once a year.
Yeah, it's good
It's
sustainable
all
income
about
for
flattening the
company.
revenue. Yeah.
I mean, Dana, would you prefer a subscription service for your gaming? I mean, someone who's only going to be getting into games and stuff like this, you don't know what you like really. You haven't played a lot of the selection. Would you prefer to get a subscription that gives you a lot of different options to play for a set monthly fee, or would you prefer just to still select your favorite game, purchase it outright, and go for it? It's a tough call, right?
Yeah, it is tough.
It's all
I
about the
don't
price
know.
point. It's all about
I
the
don't
price
know.
point. I think, like Mega says, though, for $100 a year, like you consider how many games you play in a year. Different games, unless you're a World of Warcraft player, in which case you play the same game for $50. But for everybody else, it's going to play a variety.
But it is a
of
business
games.
expense if you're streaming from it.
Yeah,
Like
and
if you're a
it's-
variety streamer, I think it would definitely be worth it. But however, again, like you said, if you just play one specific game, like Apex, then no, I think that I don't think it would be. It depends on the person.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, for me, I know I would just be wasted on me. Like I said, I've played too much of the same game. I've been playing WoW for freaking 40. I don't have barely time to fit anything else new into it. I mean, I bought Battlefield 5. I think I played it about 4 times. Only when Jimbo's been on. And I've had a lot of fun doing it, but I just feel like I'm taking time away from my WoW addiction. I feel bad. What am I doing here? I'm in some other gaming world. This is leveling my character. What am I doing?
transmog, man.
Give me my mog items. I know, right? I got to run Black Temple for the 9th month in a row. Fuck my life. It is what it is. But
transmog.
so for me,
It's good if you
personally,
don't have a main game to play.
100%. And I think the
But
price point's got to be right. That's why when I saw $30, because I know, Meg, you said it was like
$30
$100.
is good.
You said it was like, if it's $30, I might even consider getting that, if I had played.
For the PS4, yeah.
But
So with Premiere, though, you do get access to the back catalog also. So the AAA titles from 4 or 5 years ago are also on there if you haven't played them. So if you want to take a quick, pay for 1 year, play everything you feel like playing, and then call it a day.
It's a good investment because if you know, as you say, if you know you're going to play more than 1.5 games, you've saved the money. Even if it's all the content, you've saved the money, so it's worth it. At a $30 price point, it's almost a steal. It's almost a steal. $100. It's like
I do wonder, however, how that works out in the cut for the actual developers.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because you know,
yeah, $30 is cheap, dude. Quite honestly, it's scarily cheap.
Well, the flow-on effect is what's going to be interesting. It's like we've seen the last year has been shit for games.
Mm-hmm.
It has been.
Like they've been releasing stuff that doesn't work. They've been releasing stuff that doesn't even look like what they actually advertised it was going to be.
True.
So many problems, and they're going down to it's a money problem, or it's this or that, and then this comes along, and then it's going to cut the price of the game in half again. It's like you keep taking money away from the devs; they're just going to produce more and more shit for the sake of producing shit. So
EA already has a really bad reputation.
Tell me about
I think making Sims go to shit as well.
Anything they touch turns to brown. Let me tell you, it's fucking horrible.
Oh no.
Horrible. I mean, so can you imagine if they've taken half your dev team away, so now it's going to take something that's going to require more time to develop, or they can do it in the same time frame, but it's going to be half as good. So if you already got a game that's okay, you're going to make that, and it's going to be shit. So you can't expect low prices and brilliant content.
Because productivity doesn't scale with time either. So just because a developer can put out 100 work units in 40 hours doesn't mean they can put out 280 hours.
100%, and that ties into this next article that was on the list here. I'm just going to bang it into the chat here. It's the pressure to constantly update games is literally pushing the industry to breaking point. The fact that we're demanding updates, DLC, constantly growing games. We want to play a game, and once we buy it, we want to have the game go on and go on and go on and go on and go on, and to the point where it's actually affecting the developers' families because they're always at work developing games. You know what I mean? It's are we as gamers becoming too demanding in what we want out of the titles, where we want one title that we buy to last us 4 or 5 years, everything, to be a World of Warcraft, 15 years of gameplay out of one game. It doesn't happen all the time. You know what I mean? Should we just be happy with 1,000 hours of gameplay out of something, 60 hours of gameplay? What's the magic number? For a game, how many hours do you guys consider get out of a game that it makes it worth the price point? I mean,
depends on the asset.
Yeah, exactly.
We should ask the WoW player that spent probably about 3 years of his life
logged in, dude. Like, I worked it out. I told you, my one main character is 975 days played time. That's logged in actively gaming for 975 days on one of my fucking 20 characters.
That's 20%.
I have 20 characters. That's one of them. It's been a long 14 years, but I love the game. You know what? I've gotten my money's worth, but I probably spent a metric shit ton. You work out the fact that I bought every expansion. Some of them I bought 2 copies because my wife was playing at some point, the game with me, so I bought multiple copies of some expansions. I paid a monthly subscription to Blizzard for the last 14 years, every fucking month. You work that out at what was originally $9. Now it's sitting at I think over a 14-year period. I've paid for that a lot of cash, but the amount of gameplay I've gotten out of it, it's worth it. It's worth it. To me, it's the reason why I keep going back. Apart from other, it's a game that works for me, so I'm happy with it. But Blizzard, that's why they can keep producing it, because they've got that sustainable income. But what do you guys? How many hours does a normal person? How many hours does a normal person put into a game? You think about any other game that you buy. What? Maybe 60 hours, maybe 100 hours. I mean,
could be if it's a story-based game, it could be 10 hours.
Yeah. I do prefer story-based games. I don't know. I can't focus on a game for too long. You play it and it's over, it's done, you move on to the next game. Even when I was playing WoW, it became so repetitive and so boring and so grindy. I hate those kind of grinding games.
Yeah. I don't like the grind either. Like I almost never 100% complete a game just because I can't stand all the little please.
We were talking about that the other day. Like, when was the last time you game.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
finish a lot of games, but I do not complete games
You're not
very
a
Yeah.
often.
center. You're not a
Yeah.
completionist.
Games with
Yeah.
storylines, finish the story, you're satisfied with the ending, and then move on to the next game. Like, I love the
Yeah.
Final Fantasy franchise with like the cute little storylines, and then you're happy that, I don't know, so and so got it.
Done
Who
with
was it? Titus.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
You love it. The romance was there, the action was there. You completed 100% nice ending. That's it.
Gives
You
you that
don't
nice
have
sense of
to
completion.
grind.
Unfortunately, I'm stuck in an
Hours
eternal
for-
grind for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
The
Some
game that
gamers
never-
enjoy the grind.
But that's what it is.
I-
For me, it's almost like
Yeah.
slipping on a pair of comfortable slippers. You know, when you get home, you into my character that I've known this character. I've built this character. I've got history. I've got screenshots with that I've from 14 years ago, like doing other weird
Wow.
shit with things on. I've got a history with these people. I've got friendships that I've made that are over 10, 12 years old with people that I've played the same game with that are still playing. Thing. I mean, it's different now, and it's been a real weird mindset change for me now, changing over to the US servers because I've literally felt like I've reset my life because I've gone from a 14 years worth of character development on characters to a fresh start, a new character, and it's been weird. It's kind of fun. My bags are empty, but it's kind of weird. It has felt like a bit of a disconnect. I'm having a lot of fun because I'm playing actively, friends and cats or which, but that sense of history, you do feel a big loss from it, giving all of that. So to play a nice story-based game, I almost envy you having that sense of finish, in a game when you can do that on those games. Because for me, like, it's never going to end, and I just have to be happy with that and take that type of side of the game. But yeah, I don't even remember when I finished a game. I don't finish my games.
Yeah.
Sad.
I think a lot of it comes
On
down
the treadmill
to
forever.
a catch-22. It's like they want new content, but they don't want the content to be like something you have to grind on. So they want new content, but they want instant gratification when they're playing the game. And you can't have both. Otherwise, you're going to have a game that just is constantly evolving every month because, oh, yeah, I've done all this now. In 3 hours, I want something new to do. It's like, that's why I liked old WoW. It was a long-term progression, and you only got out what you put in. Now it's so, what would say, Dory, casual-based in the way that you can level and
It caters
get
for a
gear
shorter
and-
gaming experience. What they've done with WoW now, there's no longer the need for you to be logged in for the 8 to 12 hours a day to be in an effective member of the raid team. How the game used to be. I racked up all the hours a day. Nowadays, you can literally log in for about 30 minutes before raid time, bang out your dailies, yourself ready for raiding in half an hour experience. You don't have to do anything. Get yourself up there. Variety of catch-up out 6 months worth of content you can catch back up in. So they've changed the way they're developing the game.
Yeah. So it's more instant gratification for new people to come along, or for people that are whinging
It's
about it. And
it's
then they
easier to get
expect
into.
new content because they've done everything they need to do in a week. And then whinge about, oh, I've got everything now, but I want normal content and I want it now. And it's just, it can't work. You can either have content and grind for it, and then when you finish that, there'll be something new ready for you, or you can have everything right now and then whinge about waiting for it. You can't have both.
All right, cool. I'm going to move us out of the gaming category into the final section here. We might hack.
Oh, look out.
All right, so we're going to go into the final section of the night. This is our general life topics. Just some interesting things which I noted. Stories there. One of the guys was talking about, it's an interesting topic, how a former Silicon Valley insider is how technology is downgrading humans. I agree with this as a thing where we've got so much tech available to us as actually downgraded ourselves because we let the tech do everything. And I know where he's going with this. Like, how many of you know your friend's phone number?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I don't
know.
But you think back fucking, 20 years ago, whatever it was, pre-mobile phone
Memorize them
population,
all.
you knew them all. You'd be able to, like, hey, it's this Johnny is this,
But
this, and this.
is
Johnny.
that what makes you a human, though? Or is
No, I'm
it,
just saying,
empathy
you know,
and morality?
It's a point of view where they're looking at, are we just relying on technology than
Yeah, but it's
ever,
not
to the point where we're not keeping ourselves at the edge of where we.
I just have different things to memorize now.
I
don't-
suppose
I
you're
don't
not
need to
wrong. It's the
memorize
password
phone
to every fucking website that we're on now. That's what I got to
number.
memorize.
To change every
Yeah.
90 days, and
Yep.
I think
think
it
that's-
depends. Because in some ways you become more reliant on, for example, the autocorrect.
Mhm.
You don't know how to spell as much anymore. Even now, I find myself thinking, how did I spell such a simple word? And I'm like, well, I used to be able to spell so perfectly, and now I have issues remembering how to spell certain things. So I do think sometimes I'm just like, oh man, I feel like I'm getting stupider. But
Exactly.
I have that problem a lot when I type in Twitch chat. Like it gets red, and damn it, why don't I have like autocorrect in it? And I have to
Twitch chat's
copy
making us
paste it into
smarter.
Google, and then I see the Google, and okay.
That's
And sometimes I just fucks up.
It's not purely about that as the article. They were also talking about
Is that the one from last night? Sleen.
Sleen. Oh god, yeah, I remember that from last night. That was funny as hell. They were saying the guy was saying it's an issue that's bigger than screen time. It's not just about addiction. People are seeing things as disconnected, seeing teen addiction, mental health, social isolation, all these type of things coming in because of the overuse of technology, the decentralization of where we put our time, and the way everything is being marketed or pushed at us to grab our attention. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that are built specifically to grab our attention and hold it, and it's pulling us away from a lot of other things that we should be paying attention to. And that's also the premise of what he was do you guys agree with that type of thing? That's kind of the way that we are sliding as a society. And is there a way we can get around it? Because I don't know, but the integration of some stuff seems like a natural way of downgrade.
No, I think it's just. I don't think it's a downgrade. Yeah, sure. You don't remember all your stuff as well as you used to in the old days, but it's progression. Just because I don't remember my fucking phone number half the times because I don't ring it or anything else like that, and I can instantly get it if I need it. But I'm sure that I can remember other things. I haven't devolved as a human because I now have a phone. I didn't have a phone for years. I don't think I'm any different now that I have one.
Yeah.
But yeah, as for being desensitized to a lot of things because we have that disconnection when we're looking at a screen. Yeah, I can see that.
It comes down to what we were talking about in the environmental thing too. About a disposable society. Our mentality is everything is replaced. But I want a new this, I'll get it online. I want to find a new that, I'll get it online. I want something redone, I can get another one. Everything is replaceable. Even people at this stage. You want a new set of friends, change your fucking community. Else, you go to a different webpage.
True.
I mean, it's everything becomes throwawayable, and we all argue why are we building shittier buildings? Fucking we'll get another one. You know what I mean? It's a mental change in society, and is this being propagated by the fact that technology is here for us to replace? And relationships are going that way. You can get a new relationship by swiping left if you. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that. It's everything is disposable.
But if you think about it, I feel like maybe because we, as our generation, had a little bit of the best of both worlds, are we the only ones thinking about it as downgrading? Or are the new generation, the people who didn't have what we had before, they're probably like, wow, we're so advanced.
100%.
Or even, I don't know, grandma, who probably thinks we're super advanced right now as well. I think we're the only ones stuck in the middle of having both. We're just kind of like, what are we doing?
I think there is a problem, and the growing one is that as adults, we're not giving the kids the same upbringing as what we have. We try, but it's like it's so much easier just to give a 5-year-old one of these and then go, it's society's fault that there's something wrong with it. It's like, no, it's your fault. And the biggest thing that we have is we got to stop pointing fingers at everyone else's problems. No, everyone else is the fault except for ourselves. We don't take blame for our own actions. That's the problem. That's where we're heading
Is that because we now consider ourselves a global society and you fall into the natural psychological of groupthink. Everybody else is doing
Well,
it,
if
so
that
it's
was the
not my
case,
fucking
then why do
problem.
we still criticize each other for being from a different country, a different race, speak a different language? We're not globalized. We're just more easily accessible.
But some people don't live outside in that globalized environment. They live online in a unity of different things. I mean, look at us. We're a bunch of different cultures that are in one specific. It's a completely different thing. You know what I mean? So it goes both ways.
You don't live in your den though. Like,
you have to go out
all
and
the
buy
time.
bread and
You
bucket
actually
milk
get
on the
out.
island. You know what I mean?
It's those are the problems that would probably stand out more. It's the people that are just always on a screen somewhere. Like, get out and see the world. Like,
While it exists. Yeah.
I think there's still far better people out there than what what this is trying to talk about. This might be focusing on just one aspect or one perspective. I don't think we're downgrading. I think we just need to moderate a little bit more. Because yeah, right, you can just sit there on the computer all day and see the world without leaving your armchair, and that's sad.
Yeah, because I think like technology in the long run is gonna be good for for us. And if there's something that's gonna save the planet, it's gonna be like our technological advancements that we managed to make. So
There was
Whatever
that guy who
advancement
lived
has
for
its
1
pros and
week
cons.
in his VR headset. Did you guys
Oh,
see
yeah.
that? Insane.
no.
Is that the future?
yeah, like
Very
player one.
Matrix, right?
Ready-
Very
Ready
Matrix. At
Player
what
One.
point do you
Ready
just
Player One.
plug yourself in? Yeah, Player One, exactly that.
Yeah.
It suddenly becomes better to live in the virtual world.
Mm-hmm.
Going that way.
Well, if your
Going
real world's shit, then yeah, you might want to escape to a
But it is
virtual
for a lot
one.
of people. You got to realize it. A lot of people. A lot of people
Then
hate reality.
Then stop living in the world, or get out and fix it.
Well, if you live in poverty, it's not exactly easy if you don't have the means to do it.
That's it.
I think that might be a future. Everyone's brains get uploaded into a ball, and then we shoot it out into space before the Earth explodes
that.
by the nukes.
Would you
Maybe
guys
that
be
already
uploaded
happened.
into the
all
ball?
all the brains are living in a
Right
Maybe
virtual
we're
world.
doing that right now.
We're busy uploading ourselves right
Maybe.
now. Yeah, we're being assimilated. Right. It's an interesting point of view. I think it's definitely a subject that can be up for debate. All right, let's jump into the next one here. An interesting thing that I saw was people asking how creepy. What speaker? Do you guys think about this? Who has an Alexa? Who has a who has a Google Home? You know, I know I do. Meg, I know you do. There's a couple. Most people do.
I don't have one.
Is this a consideration when you're buying these? Do you think about listening in and who's paying attention? Because they are on listening for those active commands, as they say, and the companies say, "Hey, we're not listening, mate. We're not listening."
Yeah.
But
so's your phone, so who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really care. My Alexa can listen to whatever I say.
If I have something that sensitive to say, I'll go unplug it.
Yeah, right?
I'll go outside.
Sometimes she randomly turns on, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Like,
I pity the fool that has to sit through the 18 hours of my kids screaming, running around the TV room. That's got to be painful. Get a better job if that's what you're doing. So that shit.
It's like people being
could you
paranoid
imagine-
about FBI people on your phones as well. Like, whatever. He can see what the 500 pages of clothes I was looking at. I don't care.
Well, Apple at their discretion can turn on your phone and your camera and your microphone and just drop in because, well, maybe they're having a slow day at the office. But I don't exactly see like Alexa or Google being like a staple throughout, say, I don't know, the White House, the military, Parliament, somewhere else.
Oh yeah, no.
And there's a reason for that. It's because they're always listening.
Yeah.
That's
But there's also a reason why, if you go into a secure area in the Pentagon, you have to lock your phone in a EM shielded box before you go in.
Oh,
Your
and a
phone does
Ferris
the same
box.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just something to consider when you're. All right, cool. One more. Let me drop it in here. Yeah, it's could Neuralink lead? Larry guys know what that is all about. Quite interesting. Elon Musk could do thing.
Oh yeah.
Was he smoking crack again when he came up with this idea, or?
No. It's what Jimbo was talking. Like
Yeah, because I've heard it. Yeah, I've heard it before.
it's being able to how you basically are gonna connect yourself computer directly, and lose the. So I mean, if you think about it, the rate that you're thinking about stuff and using your brain for stuff, how quickly you input that sort of stuff in the mouse and the slow down and the choke point is the interface.
Yeah, he's basically talking about making a bigger bandwidth, so you can push more information quicker between your brain and the computer.
Like, I mean, I might be the best FPS player in the world, but my hands are shit. You know what I mean? Like, I can't move the mouse, but my reaction time is spot on.
Well, the problem is that I'd be solving world hunger, and then all of a sudden, bloody boobs will come up on the screen because my mind would just wander. It's actually fucking useless to me.
It's an interesting concept. I mean, and that's they say, it'll work by implanting tiny electrodes into the person's brain, you know.
Ooh, that's spooky. I don't know.
Are you guys down? Would you be down for popping 1 or 2 little electrodes in the head to connect you to the neural network?
Let's just say I won't be an early adopter.
No, that sounds like a disaster for brain damage. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I'll get like
someone else can
7.
experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't want to get the Founders Edition. I tell you that.
Let the test subjects go first.
There was a pretty cool video there of a woman controlling a robotic arm using only her
thought pattern
brain.
Yeah. So, I mean, the technology is evolving. It's already there. And as Delbrock's saying in the chat, it's be a great use for paralyzed people. You know what I mean?
That's
like
true.
this, if you could suddenly create a robotic exoskeleton or something like that, with completely and maybe replace what you've got, and control it with your brain patterns, fixed. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole bunch of applications to. Amazing. Not just being able to download the entire porn. You know, like that. there's many good applications to it, you know, at the same time. So I don't know. For me, like I said, I'd probably end up connecting to it. I don't think I'd be adverse to the idea, but yeah, I agree with you guys. I ain't gonna be the Founders Edition. Don't give me the initial test.
No.
Once a couple of people have gone through the mix and have come out maybe a year or so later without their brains melted, I'd be down.
True, yeah.
Yeah, but does that mean like from birth you're gonna like the first procedure that's ever gonna happen is you're gonna have a USB port implanted in the back of your head? It's like I'm ready, and just plug yourself in.
And why not? You know, if it's safe and it's gonna. I mean,
no.
But that brings into a different moral thing. Now you're saying if you're gonna do it from birth, that brings into the moral compass. The kid had no choice.
Yeah, exactly.
He was just
administered
the neural network.
You're still going to walk around with a USB port plugged into the back of your head.
It's going to be like circumcision.
But like imagine instead of picking up your phone and put up Wikipedia and like search for something, you just instantly know it because
you've downloaded,
thought about it, and then it connects to your computer, and you just have it in your brain instantly.
You see those movies where the guy goes, "I need to learn karate in the next 5 seconds." All right, now I'm the king. Fucking fucks people up. I want that shit.
That would be so dangerous as an infant, though, because then they'd be like, how to kill people, and then soon your 3-year-old's on a mass murder spree.
Yeah, those toddlers go wild. I don't think they need that kind of power. It's something we might have to put the USB run through.
True, yeah.
Maybe we can get to a point where we can still be individuals in that aspect, but what?
Sorry, my microphone. I bumped the cable. Carry on.
Sorry. Yeah. If you're going to become like a singularity of an intellect, does that take away our ability to be human then, or are we just some sort of? I don't know. No, I don't think it'd be a good.
You wouldn't connect?
No, I don't think I would connect into a singular thing where. Imagine having the entire repository of our combined intellect in the world pushed into your head. It'd drive you insane because there's so much crap out there that is not real. How do you pick and choose what you can? Well,
obviously you'd have to have that kind of filtration system. Have the entire internet pushed inside.
I can't even get the filter for my spam folder to work properly. How the fuck do you think I'm going to get that to work?
Don't connect to the Aussie USB link. You're going to die. All right, cool, guys. That's
interesting concept. But yeah, I could see that being a dangerous thing.
I think they're gonna work on
I
it.
agree.
I'd connect. Cool. That covers. We're gonna. Oh, thanks guys for good. We managed to keep it under 3 hours. That's a
9 to
first
go.
time ever.
9 minutes.
Yeah, 9 minutes left. We made it, boys and girls. We made it. I know we've kept dinner up a little bit later than we haven't done as badly
No
as we. So let's just go a quick whoop around. Make sure everybody hangs around. We're gonna raid the lady that was in here a little earlier. I see she's gone live with a little wine mom action. So she's going on with mom there after this. But Potsy, where can we see you this week? What can we expect from PottsieTV on?
I'll be back on my. I think I'm going to change my hours around because getting up at stupid o'clock every day and then trying to hang out with absolutely everyone and then trying to condense like times where I wanted to get things done, it's just not working. So I'm going to be on a little bit later. I will be coming on my usual 5 days a week. I'm sorry I wasn't around last week as much, but the Discord boys had a few things going on, and then one day I wasn't feeling up for it. I was literally just drained and feeling like shit. But you can find me there. I will be back on tomorrow, and then for the next 5 days, and then after that we have Jackbox on Saturdays.
Good,
So
all right.
that's my day off.
That's your day over there. That's when I work. Jimbo, what can we expect from you for the rest of the week? Got anything planned? Any new Twitch things, extravaganzas?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and put in some Twitch thing streams because I'm on the early shift next week, so it's gonna be some after work.
Nice.
Not gonna be that late for my neighbors when I get home. So. And
looking
then, like I
forward
said,
to
I applied for that competition. Then that's gonna be on next Saturday. So
definitely
have my
let us know,
hopes that I get in, but I don't know. Like I think it's gonna be a lot of people.
Hey, if you do get in, we'll watch you on the cruise ship, mate. If your singing portion goes up, we'll pause the game and make sure we watch Jimbo getting his thing on sections.
We'll see.
Mega.
Is it Twitch sings or is it just mustache grooming?
It could be advanced mustache grooming. You never know. What can we expect from Mr. MegaGremlin this week? Oh, sorry, Jimbo, carry on.
I just was going to say that I wrote that in my presentation that with a lacking singing abilities, I make up for my awesome mustache.
There you go. Tune in for the best mustache in the business with Mr. Jimbojp. Check him out, twitch.tv/Jimbojp. Mega, what can we expect from you this week, mate?
You will see me on Tuesday and Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday, definitely, I'll be playing Horizon Zero Dawn. If I finish it out on Tuesday, I'll have something new on Thursday, which I haven't decided yet. But I think there may be enough content left for Thursday as well, so we'll see how that goes.
Sounds good. Flirtini, what can we expect from you this week coming up on Twitch? Where can we find you? What are we going to see?
So I am at twitch.tv/Flirtini. So sadly, this week is super busy for me. I'm going to try to stream every day, but I don't know if it'll actually happen. But you can find me in the Just Chatting section. Come chit chat with me. Listen to me cry about my daily struggles. So
sounds fun. You might even get to see a MySpace page, boys and girls. I
yeah,
checked it out today.
What time do you expect to be on?
Yeah, what time are you on?
Usually I'm on around 7 or 8 p.m. UK time.
Okay. BST. Cool. Excellent. Thank you for joining us. You've been a fantastic guest.
Thank you for having me.
It's been great having you along with us.
We had a good time.
Me too.
You guys can all catch me right here on the kaelanDori cruise ship every Saturday night for some Jackbox good times. If you haven't been along for it, it gets wild, it gets spicy, but we have a good time. If you like Jackbox and you like sailing the savage seas in international waters, make sure you join me right here on the cruise ship every Saturday night from 10 o'clock BST all the way till the bottle of the tequila is finished. That's usually about as long as we last.
Or a bottle of vodka if he's feeling spicy.
No, fuck that, Bruder. No vodka anymore. It's only tequila all the way. TwitchCon 2019 training for realsies. And then of course every Sunday night from 9:30, you can catch the Discord boys here on the cruise ship doing the podcast, chatting about Twitch news, gaming, guest stuff, and general everything that we like talking about. It's been a fantastic show. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us. We're gonna go over and jump over to Janelle Wheeler's and see what her and her mama chatting about with the wine. Thank you guys for hanging out with us here on the ship. It's been a fantastic show. Thank you, Flirtini, once again for joining us. It's been great.
Thank you.
Thank you for sailing with us, everybody. There's the raid command in the chat. Chuck it in if you like that. Otherwise, spam all the Discord boys emotes that you guys have got. And we'll see you again, same time, same place, next week. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you soon.